Wow. Hopefully... So, okay, I was yet again tweaking audio setup things. Um, mostly leftover of the Jeff stream, anyways. Benefit of sleeping. Not sleeping. I mean, sleeping has benefits, but benefit of not sleeping for, you know, reacting to the Genshin reveal stream is that I feel more awake than I normally do for these things. Because normally I'd have to like wake up with 4 hours of sleep or less for these streams, and then... Can you just heal me, thank you? I had to wake up with like 4 hours of sleep for these streams, and, you know... Well, okay, is this actually better than just being tired? Like, I don't know. The thing is, I don't feel that tired right now. Because that's what happens sometimes when you just stay up too late. Anyways. Trust the Albedo lore is important? I hope so. I don't know. We're in Mondstadt right now. And I think it'll be interesting to see. Okay, so I'm assuming it's just going to be like an event. An event's something. That's cool. And it's raining. Uh-oh. Event is cool. But, yeah. It's just Luna, I have to go to school. Well, blame Mahoyo. I didn't want to stream it this time. Although, this is going to be my stream for the day, to be clear. Because I'm going to go sleep for the rest of the day. and then edit for the night. I finished, well, mostly finished. I had to, like, do some final touches and whatever. Add some background music and minor other tweakings. But I finally finished the big, can a non-Genshin player 36 star the Abyss video. It's pretty much done. It took a lot of time, but anyways. Game audio? Do you, okay, I asked, oh yeah, that's what I was asking before. Does the game audio not work? Oh, it's doubled. Oh, oops. That was my bad. Should be fine now. Theoretically. I accidentally had game audio and desktop audio going through on OBS. That was my bad. I purposely added the additional thing in the desktop audio to make sure that, you know, I had desktop audio for when we watch the stream, because if we didn't have desktop audio for that, that would be not ideal. But I forgot to mute the game audio. Oopies. Wenzo with 5 gifted subs, thank you. Particularly since I'm doing no ads this stream. Because I think it's weird to have ads for a reacting thing. But anyways, thank you, Wenzo. I appreciate that. So, what are we doing in the next 25 minutes? I'm not going to yap for 5 years about Escoffier, okay? We had the ultimate yap stream about Escoffier a day or two ago, whenever that was. I don't know what it was, because I haven't slept. Time, what does time mean? Nothing. And, yeah. So, anyways,
almost as hot as those studio lights I'm in front of all the time. Good thing there can only be one sun.
I don't know if I've ever heard that line from... I probably have, I just don't recall it. The rain went away line from Farina is interesting. Also slightly odd. Good thing there can only be one sun. Anyways. Coffee's indeed our savior. You just got an ad? Well, it's not my fault. I don't know what to tell you. There is quite literally nothing I can do about that. To be clear, the ads that I turn off are the ads during the stream. I don't think YouTube lets me control whether or not it gives you an ad when you join the stream for the first time. The ads, I turned off monetization though on my end, so... I don't know what to tell you. If you got an ad, it's not my fault. Blap. Anyways, thank you, Wenzo, for another gifted. Wenzo is single-handedly the main person that, and another one is single-handedly the only person that gives any reason for memberships to, or the makes any memberships. Not the only person technically, but anyways, it's a constant reminder to me that I need to do more with the memberships as far as incentivizing them, but you know, I haven't had any good ideas with the memberships as a rewards for them that aren't like something I feel like I don't have the ability to commit to in my like weekly workflow or whatever. Anyways, Venti's VA said there's no voice lines for Venti in 5.6. Really? Oh god. I don't know. So how do you guys feel about replacing VAs? It's like, is this some drama? Is this drama talk I'm getting into? Oh god, it's not. That's not my intention. Is to bring up drama talk, but like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It really, it's like, I think what it says is that like Mihoyo really needs to give an option to experience the story, not FOMO style, like not, oh, you can only do the event story in the 2 weeks it's available. Like if there was a way to replay the events so that there would eventually be a voiced English event in the future, you know, that'd be great. But there's not. It's play it now or don't play it ever, right? So I don't know. Anyways, Sapphire gave a membership. Wow. Hello. Thank you, Sapphire. I appreciate that. That's a rarity. Good morning, chat. Good morning. You know, I think I take back what I said at the start. I can feel myself being more tired than I think I would be if I had 4 hours of sleep. To be clear, I've been awake. How long have I been awake? I mean, only like, it's like I've probably been awake for like 20 hours right now. Not insane, I think. I don't actually, no, I'll be hitting 20 hours shortly, I think. I don't know. I also went to sleep at like 7 a.m. yesterday. so I've accidentally turned myself into a day sleeping schedule for the last couple days. Anywho's, you have a job now. Wow, nice. Congrats. Hopefully it's one that is not miserable. Which I say because I don't know if I've worked a not miserable job that wasn't content creation. And not that content creation is perfect, but at least I feel like I'm in more control of my own problems. to some degree. Is this gonna murder our ears, by the way? This always murders my ears. Like, I hate it. Can I preemptively unmurder or prevent murder? Yeah, here we go. I'm gonna mute the site. So, also, what's the vibe in the generalized? How many people are waiting? 13,000. Okay, Iffa. Oh yes, Iffa, the best character. No, I mean, look, he's, well, I think he's the first Natlan Forcer I'm not gonna level up. So I'll probably make a video on him, just not on my account. Where's my beer? That's a good question. Change Paimon voice. Okay. What is Shalonen's weapon? Dude, is it worth it for free to play? I'd say, generally speaking, if you're asking that question, the answer is no. Okay, so it's just people yelling about recasting Paimon because of voice actor drama. Okay. So I don't. I hope there's something interesting. I always feel like watching these things is just watching an advertisement. I do hope there's something interesting that we aren't aware of, and to be clear, I'm sure there'll be something I haven't seen, because like I don't look at anything other than what the upcoming character kits are. So I will assuredly see something, but I do hope the Mondstadt stuff is more than just a Mondstadt event. I also certainly wouldn't mind some surprise. It's been a long time since we had surprises as far as banners. The banners are supposedly going to be Escoffier, Navia, Raiden, Kanich, and like Raiden just doesn't make any sense. Like they're rerunning Kanich without rerunning Emily. Like, bruh. Anyways, you recently quit Genshin due to burnout. Do you recommend I should still at least play the game? I mean, do you want to? Do you want to, Wenzo? It sounds to me like you don't really want to. Yeah, we'll just use this team for farming. I really, really should be farming Leylands right now, but you know what? It's Mondstadt Day. We're gonna spend time in the... Wait, does this count as a Mondstadt domain? It's on the border. You know, I say this is a I think it is, because this was released with, like, Eula and whatever, right? So this is a Mondstadt domain. Yeah. It's Leeway? No, it's a Mondstadt domain. No, it's a Mondstadt domain. I just would really, really like to be done. And blap. I would really like to be done with tenacity. And that's probably not happening. But at least a flower would make me happy. Not strongboxing. I'm strongboxing and I am not strongboxing. Well, the one piece I have on Pale Flame that is quite good already is a flower, by the way. So, like, I know, ooh, double crit 4-line piece, but honestly, without having ER for someone like Eula, I don't know if that matters. When I already have I have like a 39 CV plus 1 ER roll piece. So it's like, okay, sure, that could be better, but like, come on. It's like the one Pale Flame artifact that getting double crit 4-line on doesn't matter at all. And also as a troll, considering I wanted a flower like that now. In the other set, but oh well, that's what I get for farming the domain. And blap. Oh, I wasn't within range. Fine. Do. Whimsy is in Strongbox? Yeah, I'm not farming Whimsy. Oh yeah, someone asked about Whimsy in the chat. I see 3 artifacts in a row. That's crazy. Crazy. You're excited for Dahlia? Yeah, why is the Mondstadt character not coming out in the Mondstadt event patch? Like, they don't even have either of the new characters featured on, like, the stream art or whatever. And there's a Mondstadt character coming out, presumably in 5.7. We don't have confirmation of that or anything, of course, but it's just an assumption. But, like, why? Why not release the Mondstadt character with the Mondstadt themed patch? I don't get it. I'm so confuddled. Yeah, he'll probably be in the story, I'm presuming. I expect that. And I'm sure... I am willing to bet, as far as new things we'll see, we'll probably see Dahlia in... okay. In... Sure, I will... I mean, I'll level it to 4. Having a stroke. We'll see Dahlia in the thing. In the stream. Is my bet. That's my bet for the new information we'll get. We'll see Dahlia. That's all. Alright, well, that flower is probably not what I want, since I'm kind of looking for double crit HP or double crit ER flowers. Well, okay, you're trying to give me hope. What was it? Didn't I get another piece? I thought I got another piece. What was it? I could have sworn I got something else. Please help. Also, what is this? Not done. Okay. Just making sure. It's 6:44. We got time. I'm actually having a stroke. What was that piece? Am I having... Okay, I apparently really do need to sleep. There was another artifact, right? Have I hallucinated this? There was another artifact I wanted to level to 4. Was it a Pale Flame piece? I know I got the 4-line double Pale Flame piece, but I don't need to level that right now. Oh, it was the goblet. Yeah, okay. Well, I don't need to level that to 4 right now. I mean, to be clear. Yeah. I'll level it to 4. No. I mean, it still could be okay, actually. But I don't feel like leveling that. Okay, before we level that flower. Why do you use Tenacity on Farina? It's literally her best set outside of new lab teams. It's her best set outside of new lab teams. And you want to know where I use Farina? Always outside of Nuvilet teams. Ooh, that's the wrong set. Really don't need more feathers on this set. This set has just pooped double crit feathers out the wazoo on me, and I just like, thank you, but also literally my least needed tenacity pieces. Okay. Like, I have this, I have, not that, I have this, I have this, I have this, I thank you, but anyways, okay. So problem is, I don't really want to throw this piece in right now, because it could roll worse. it's you know, it's got def percent and a flat stat that is literally useless, which is always a bad sign. If it had HP or ER in particular, it'd be a no-brainer, but. Yeah, see, this is like, this piece is why it's like, okay. This would have to roll incredibly well, like all into crit. What's the chat doing? It's frozen. Okay. Why is it frozen? Because I froze it by accident? Kind of. Varka will be seen in trailer. That would be cool. If Varka was in the trailer, I'd be down with that. That'd be a twist. Wait, they changed the screen to Escoffier? Wait, did they? Oh, yeah, they did. What? Wait, what? I didn't even notice. Or are they like, oh, wait, we forgot. The Mondstadt patch is not this next patch. Was that an accident? No, there's no way that was an accident. They just chose to change the art. What? I mean, that makes sense. This is what I would have expected originally, considering this is the Escoffier patch. Okay, so that's probably, at minimum, basically confirmation that the Mondstadt stuff is just an event and literally nothing else. Now, dessert does look like a really good dessert right now. That's a lot of chocolate, but that looks like actual chocolate and not frosting. And frosting is ugh, but chocolate is good. I mean, I know you can have chocolate frosting, by the way, but anyways, they threw Mondstadt just for the bait, maybe. Okay. Let's see if we can figure out a piece to throw in. I also still need to level up that thing. Okay, that's fine. Okay, let's see. What do I have for fodder, I guess? Nothing. Okay, cool. 10 out of 10. Why do I have nothing? I could have sworn I had a... What did I level yesterday? I didn't stream yesterday, and my brain is not awake enough to remember what I leveled yesterday. Wait. I think I can figure this out, because it's probably a new artifact, right? Surely. Wasn't that? I mean, I leveled that on stream. That wasn't the one. Oh, frick me. Okay, it must have been an older artifact that I leveled. I had a level 20 artifact. Like, it was a circlet. What did I feed that into? There was a circlet that I decided on Golden Troop that I didn't need anymore. That I was going to save to feed into a piece. I fed it into something yesterday, and I do not remember what I fed it into. I remember it was like, okay, usable artifact, but nothing exciting. So I just can't remember if it's like, is that a throwawayable usable artifact, or is that like a no, I have to keep that previous artifact? I don't remember what I did. Why did I press that button? Brains. I love my brains. I don't have multiple. I wish I had multiple, but anyways, okay, well, I guess we're leveling this piecemeal. 'Cause I don't think don't think I know what I can throw away for it right now. I mean, maybe one of my golden true pieces, to be clear. But I like most of my golden true pieces for different things. So, I don't know. Double check this, make sure it's not live. Nope. Okay. Do. What in the world? What did I use that circlet to level up yesterday? Like, it's actually bothering me. What did I level up yesterday? It's a problem with having multiple accounts. Like, you level, maybe, so maybe I'm complaining it with maybe I'm just conflating it with a different account right now, right? But like, I don't remember what it was. I really don't. And I'm spending so far too long in this inventory screen. I just want to... Man, I know I was... Oh! I remember what I did. Yup. Nope, I remember. I reconfigured Marika again with Skyward Spine, but instead of being full EM, I gave her some crit stats. I know. And in doing that, I ended up leveling up this piece. And it's certifiably okay. I thought, no, I threw one of my old pieces away. Yeah, I threw the feather. She had previously had one that was like this piece, but one less crit roll. So that was not it. Or was it? I don't know. Oh, frick me. It both was and wasn't. I remember I leveled that up, but that doesn't explain where the circlet went. It doesn't explain where the circlet went. Hello, Seluna, big fan. Hello, Jaeger. Well, I hope this is relatable, at least. I think this is mostly a no-sleep problem, or something. I know I changed Auron yesterday as well. Maybe Auron yoinked it somehow. No, that's not new. 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 Okay. Yeah. Okay. I didn't change you, right? No, you're the same. Yeah, you look normal. Okay. Is it a noblesse artifact? No. I don't think so. Oh! I just remembered what it was. It was this. Ah. Yes. I remembered. Okay. The problem, so I was going to record the Pyro Traveler video yesterday, but I didn't. I leveled up this to use this off-piece circlet. And that allows me to have a pretty nice looking, you know, crit rate circlet build. But I can just use an off-piece goblet. The reason I wanted to do that was to potentially give Traveler a permanent goblet, but it didn't roll well enough for me to be happy with it, I think, so I think I can get rid of that. And I'm not going to use Pyro Traveler regularly enough that I can just yoink this onset circlet is my point. What happened to Lonions? There it is. Blap. Okay. So that's fine. Okay. Mystery solved. That took me so long. Okay. Alright, and now I'm willing to just throw that piece in, because this is like, I mean, not unusable, but you know. And beautiful. Alright. all that time for that. Well, okay. Perfect. Wow. Alright. Yep. Alright. I don't really have anything else to do on this account today. So, well, actually, wait, I should go log on to Poems only. But does it matter in 5 minutes? You know, I guess I should. I can go do dailies and forums only before it starts. Or has it started yet? Nope, it's not. Let's put this up instead. You can watch the chat while I log in. That piece was worthy of a community post. I know, right? I am in the United States Central Standard Time, so it is 6:56 a.m. for me. Too early. I love Venti. Yeah. I wonder if Venti's gonna rerun in the Mondstadt patch. I think it's no longer a Mondstadt patch. So why didn't they change the art? Have they ever done that before? Where they like showed off like an event art and then they completely changed the art? I don't remember that if they'd done that before. But I don't watch these streams regularly, so you know. I don't know. Okay, let's just get this done. Fell asleep yesterday listening to me, thanks. I fall asleep listening to not me, but I definitely have fallen asleep to plenty of streams, so I understand the vibe. And I appreciate it, because, you know, if you fall asleep watching my streams or whatever, that still counts as watching my streams. Okay. Oh, I have to do dailies again. Yay. Yeah, I'm almost entirely committed to the idea of, you know, logging in more sparingly to polearms only after Escoffier releases. Because, like, I just don't need to log in daily for artifacts, and they don't release enough characters, and doing these dailies is a pain in the butt. You stream super late for you, like at 2 to 5 a.m. Yeah, I should do a better job at streaming at some variable times for people's like you. Because, you know, different people, different times of the world. Or you could just adopt my kind of sleep schedule, which is... Which is, it is the sleep schedule. It's where you just arbitrarily stay awake for longer periods. You know what I should try to do? I honestly should maybe try to do the like 28-hour day thing, because I think I can do that, and I think that could actually be a significant benefit, particularly if I plan around it properly. Let me see if I can show this 28-hour day. I think there's an XKCD about it. They might have been the one that like popularized the idea, but like, anyways, blab. So like, the idea is, this doesn't have to be on Sunday, right? The idea is you get a full 8 hours of sleep, but you stay awake for 20 hours instead of like 16 hours, right? It's starting. Well, too bad. We got prior. No, sorry. But like, that's not starting. You liar. You're literally lying. So let me finish my yap. I will actually. Well, no, I don't need to. No, okay, sorry. Yeah. Anyways, you get a full 28 or 8 hours of sleep, right? But by staying awake for 20 hours consistently, you just offset the time you sleep. And if you have a flexible schedule that allows for this, and I have a flexible schedule, I could do this. I would have to try to line up the wake times with certain days of the week, particularly that I do with my friends. That's why like no one does this, right? Because it's like impossible to get this to line up properly with other people. Okay, there we go. And we can lower the volume in this, and then we can unmute the site. That's still loud. My God. Okay. Here, I guess I'll mute Genshin. Whoop. Okay. Why would you mess up your sleep for this? I didn't. I was awake at 6 a.m. anyways, which is like an hour ago, finishing my video that I was working on. Because I tend to get in the mindset of like, when working on something, I'd like working on a video for a while. I'm like can see the finish line. Even if the finish line is 8 hours away, I finish. I've been working on it since 6 p.m. last night. Yoldy 12-hour editing session straight. Mondstadt, wow. I am tempted to just switch the language at this point. Is that Navia back there? Oh, there's Brina. Who's that? Is Dahlia here? Can we see a Dahlia? It's an ice cube. A pole farm character. Wing. Also, you know what, we're gonna get rid of the chat for now. Oh, this is not centered properly. Eepers. Is Iffa gonna be good for Rio? He's good for Oron. Kind of. Are we actually gonna have like some quest with Iffa that goes to Fontaine? What? Modest Codex? What is happening? Why are we in Remuria now? Uh-huh, yeah, new boss. What's with the hold up region hopping? Also, that's so much text for me. Ryan Dotier mentioned. That's an albedo. Is this what albedo's Japanese VA sounds like? It's not, I've never heard it before. Is that a special lava churl? Flashback to I see no Dahlia. Start of Genshin with there's hilly trails in the city. Oh look, I assume that's Dahlia. There we go. Told you we'd see Dahlia. They didn't give him Ellie, but also Dahlia was very pink. Chess minigame? Okay, presumably. Dahlia did not look very Hydra, by the way. I like pink characters, though. Okay. I assume this is a special boss for the event. The drug from Remuria? Okay. Oh wait, no, there's a new weekly boss, isn't there? It's the new weekly boss, presumably. Right? Maybe? I don't know. Or is the new weekly boss... Is the new weekly boss this patch? It's a cool looking weekly boss. It looks much more interesting to me as a weekly boss than... jump scare me, lady. GI56 Paralogism. It looks much more interesting as a weekly boss than the most awful thing in the game. But yeah. Varka. Wait, what about Varka? What did I miss about Varka? I missed that. Oops. Are they actually teasing Varka properly? He sent a voicemail to Venti. Oh, okay. Oh, I did not realize it was his voice. Yeah, too much. Also because it was Japanese. My brain doesn't passingly I mean, I do passingly understand some Japanese because I watch too much anime, but I watch subtitled anime. And when you watch subtitled anime, you don't pick up Japanese very well. So I did not even recognize it as a new person speaking, is my point. My brain wasn't registering it. Why? Okay, Escoffier had voids for eyes for a little
everyone. Welcome to the Genshin Impact version 5.6 special program. I'm Jane Jackson, the voice of Varessa, and I have two awesome co-hosts with me today. Why don't
Look
you
at the
introduce
ceiling
yourselves?
when I over yet? What do you mean?
Dudes? My name is Johnny LaQuasto, and I'm the voice of Iffa.
Hey, your turn.
Hello everyone, my name is Emily Cass and I voice Escoffier. I'm so excited to be here.
And I am so excited to be hosting alongside you two
I
today.
like her voice.
Oh,
I like her voice
Emily,
a lot.
I have to say, the way your chibi's tail moves around is so cool.
Oh, actually, it's not a tail. It's a self-adapting movement signal
I
tracking
don't know. I
support
didn't
mech.
expect a British.
It's a piece of tech,
Yeah.
basically. It helps Escoffier in the kitchen and in combat. It's one of
Wait,
her
is that her
essential
voice? That's
utensils.
just the voice actor, I
But
suppose.
it looks so much like a tail.
I would. Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
question.
a lot of people think that.
She's
And
probably
considering
not
how it
British.
looks, people even
in-game.
call Escoffier a demon chef.
But I would
okay,
like it.
That seems a little extreme.
Yeah, I'd say so too, but honestly, I don't know much about Escoffier. Can you tell us more
Because
about
they're
her,
over
Emily?
American VAs. Yeah, they're probably
Let's
right.
Look at her profile.
I mean, I'm fine with that.
Escoffier used to be the head
Get
chef
the
at
British
the
VAs
Hotel
instead
de
of
Bourg.
Oh, cool.
the American
The hotel
VAs if the
is famous for
American
the
VAs
extremely
don't want
popular
to work.
and exclusive Gâteau de Bourg.
Wow, exclusive?
To be clear,
Yeah,
I-
only a limited amount
like, it's
of
a complicated,
slices are
nuanced problem.
available per
I'm not-
day.
Yeah, but whatever.
Escoffier is a master of precision gastronomy, which means she approaches cooking as a science. She even develops
Okay.
advanced mecha to use in her cooking process.
Wow, that's some dedication to her craft.
Of
Is this-
course.
is this
in
implying
Escoffier's
she's like
kitchen,
Nile Red?
No dish is ready to be served until it has her stamp of approval. And when she likes something, she gets completely lost in the flavors. It looks almost
So we're
like she's
having
in heaven.
That sounds
two
incredible.
foodgasm
But what
characters
if she
in a
doesn't
row.
like it?
Oh, then she'd probably say something
Nile Red.
like...
Yeah, Nile Red. He's a
You
chemist
thought cream of mushroom soup
boy
was ready to
on
serve
YouTube,
after 3
and he's done
1/2
cooking
minutes
related
on the
things before.
stove. You'd have had more sense serving hot water with
So
ice
loud.
cubes. At least then you wouldn't have wasted all this perfectly good cream and mushroom.
It's too quiet.
Wow. Intense.
I need to
I
tweak
promise
other
Escoffier is
things here,
actually
actually.
very well mannered most of the time. But when it comes to food, she couldn't be more strict. It's all for good reason though. Escoffier believes her mission as a chef is to make haute cuisine accessible to all. So she's not just strict on other people, she demands perfection from herself too. Because that's the only way to make her dream a reality.
Oh, is that why she develops all those cooking mecha?
That's right. With their help, even
Getting her
people
Brit
who are
voice,
short on
a
time or
French-inspired
cooking
character
skills
is
can be
something. Yeah, that's
capable
why I
of making a
assume
good
she's probably
meal.
not going to sound that British.
Okay.
Presumably.
That feels like a personal
It would be
call-out.
funny though.
But seriously though, I'm telling you, I could use something exactly like that.
Same here. Emily, you said Escoffier used to be the head chef at the Hotel de Bourg. Does that mean she doesn't work there anymore?
Yeah, that's right. She even had to spend time in the fortress of Meripede.
The Fortress of Meripede?
In what way?
What happened?
We can't divulge the details right now, but all will be revealed in Escoffier's story quest.
Okay,
Treasured
ow, I just
above
bonked
all.
my hand, my
So
knuckle
be sure
on my
to check
desk.
it out if you're interested, travelers. You'll also be rewarded with extra Ascension materials for
FOMO
Escoffier.
gems,
Oh,
yay!
and travelers will get to take part in a
Please tell me
one-of-a-kind
she killed
culinary
someone. Yeah, I
showdown
hope
in
so.
this quest.
That would make her a
Not
more
only
fun
will
character.
travelers get to experience Escoffier's mentorship firsthand.
Look at that split
but
hair.
Special guests will also
Oh,
make
boy.
an appearance.
Special guest, nice. Huh. Okay, I see blubber beasts and romaritime flowers. Wait, do we have to cook 4 blubber beasts using romaritime flowers? That's not much to work with.
All I can say is trust in Escoffier. She can work wonders.
Oh, I'm definitely a believer. Okay, so we know what she can
The
do in the
difference between a
kitchen,
Brit or American
but
voicing
what
a French
about on the
character, that's
battlefield?
fair.
Right,
Yeah,
let's
that's fair.
get into it. Escoffier wields a cryovision and is
Mhm.
a powerful addition to freeze-focused teams, which brings us to one of her talents.
Ooh.
When
She
Escoffier's
does a
elemental
little bit
skill or
more
elemental
than
burst
just
hits an
for
enemy,
freeze.
she can reduce
And
their
it's also
resistance
not
to
really
hydro
freeze
and
teams,
cryo
it's
damage.
Escoffier teams.
The
I
more
will
hydro
spite
and cryo
anyone who
characters
calls
in the
Escoffier
party,
teams freeze
the
teams.
greater the
Not really,
reduction.
but I will get annoyed at
Okay.
you.
So it looks like the enemies here aren't actually frozen, but the resistance reduction still takes effect.
Yeah, that's
Uh-huh.
really important. As long as her elemental skill or burst hits an enemy, the reduction takes effect. The enemy doesn't need to be frozen. That means the talent works on bosses and other unfreezable enemies.
Wow, so it seems like any
We
character
don't
that
call-
deals hydro or cryo damage can benefit from that talent.
Mhm.
I can definitely see her being a powerful support in freeze teams.
True, but Escoffier is not just a support. She can dish out damage as well. With an actual dish.
No way.
Yeah.
And she's
when
also
Escoffier
not
unleashes
just
her
a support
elemental skill,
and not
she
just a
summons
damage
cooking mech to
dealer.
the field that
She's
follows the
also a
active
TY
character
dealer.
and periodically fires projectiles
And
at
she
nearby
doesn't
enemies,
really lose
dealing
that
cryo
much
damage.
value outside of freeze
So
teams.
with her ability to shred resistance, she
Or
basically
outside of
buffs her own
full cryo
damage.
hydro teams.
In addition, her elemental burst restores HP to the entire party.
Incredible.
Wow,
Okay,
incredible.
So she can buff the party, dish out damage, and heal. Wow. Sounds like she's pretty versatile.
Uh-huh.
And thanks to a different talent, she has another ability that really showcases her skills as a chef. If you hold her elemental skill, the cooking mech she summons can absorb elemental energy and convert it into a delicious dish.
Whoa, I've never seen a talent like that before.
Will she be good for
Okay,
Chaska with
so
hydro
you don't even have to
cryo?
prepare
I
the
don't think you have to
ingredients
do hydro
yourself?
cryo teams for her to
Oh,
be
that's
good in
awesome.
Chaska teams.
Yeah, and plus she can
Uh,
produce several kinds of dishes this way.
Well, that will be so fun to check out in game.
Totally. So take note of this next piece of news, travelers. In the first half of version 5.6,
Wow.
we'll have event
What a
wishes for
surprise.
Escoffier and Navia. A new 5-star
That makes the weapon
podium.
better so much
Symphonist
worse, by
of
the way.
Sense will be
Like, if they're
featured
gonna
on the
rerun
weapon
Raiden, why wouldn't
Our
they put
new
Raiden
4-star
first half?
character
Okay, he's
Iffa
first
will
half.
also enjoy a drop rate
That's cool.
boost on the first half banners.
Iffa, no way, bro.
I think that's
But
my line, but
like,
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Why would they not do Engulfing Lightning and her weapon
And
together to make it
another
an
bit of
actually
really
compelling weapon
exciting
banner?
news
Navia's
that
weapon is really
travelers will get
bad.
to spend more time with these two in the new version.
Wait, who are you talking about?
Okay, take a look at this clip and you'll see.
E first. No, that's not an
All
Eva.
eyes
Ew.
are on me. Lowly servants, behold the almighty Dragon Lord's magnificence. The heck are you on about? Why does no one ask for the autograph of the almighty Dragon Lord?
I don't know what I was saying before.
Wow.
But before I started yapping about the banner.
Hey, bro. What? You little... Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Do you even hear yourself, bro? How dare
By the way, I'm
you?
just assuming this is Eva's gonna be another, like, same as, like, Baiju with,
No way, bro. Huh? Seriously?
I'm blanking on the snake's name.
Do you even hear yourself,
Like,
bro?
we don't get to hear the snake very much. I'm assuming we won't be able to hear the bird that much.
No way, bro. Do you even hear yourself, bro?
Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong.
Hopeless. The almighty Dragon Lord.
Chongqing,
Go
yeah.
out. His wisdom is wasted on you. No way, bro.
No way, bro.
Ah.
To be clear, I don't mind not hearing that.
Oh, you meant Kakuku and a How. Wow, I feel like those two could argue forever.
Dude, you don't know the half of it.
Hang in there, bro.
You too, huh? Man, this bro thing is really taking off.
Well,
Yeah,
Kakuku
okay.
is just that infectious. So, travelers met Iffa in the previous version, but since we now have the chance to add him to our parties, want to give us a formal introduction, Johnny?
I thought you'd never ask, Jane. Absolutely. As most of you probably know, Iffa is a Saurian vet from the Flower Feather clan. In that land, humans and Saurians live and fight side by side. Saurians
We'll
get
narrate
sick
future
and hurt just like
streams.
everyone
Yeah,
else.
perfect.
So Saurian vets do a very important job in that land.
Okay.
And Iffa is a really good one.
Surely
In
his
fact,
kit lets
you've
him summon a
probably
bunch
heard
of
some his
Saurians, right?
accomplishments already.
'Cause that'd
Like
be a
how he
cool
saved
gimmick for the
Kakuku's
veterinarian,
life,
right?
And now, of course, Kakuku works as his trusty assistant.
Yeah, Iffa is practically a miracle worker. I heard a How got sick one time, so Kaniche took him to Iffa for treatment, and what do you know? A How was better in like 2 seconds.
First 3-star
Imagine that.
character. No, Mizuki
Sounds
exists.
like Iffa really knows his stuff. I wonder if he can treat all kinds of dragons, like even ones from other nations.
I guess, in theory. Yeah, I don't see why not. Plus, if it was an emergency, Kakuku could help him get there in
Yeah,
no
4-star
time.
flying
I mean,
character.
I heard
That's good.
The Flower Feather Clan
It's
is known for
realistically,
riding
this is the best part
Kugasaurs,
about him.
But this is less
What
riding
is so
and
loud?
more
Oh, the
dangling,
garbage truck is
isn't it?
outside.
Hey,
don't know if
this
you
is
hear
a
that, but it's
Kakuku
loud.
appreciation zone only, all right? But seriously, just wait until you see him sprint.
It's the garbage
He
truck being
spreads out
outside
those
fitting.
huge wings, and it's super awesome. Oh, and while we're on the subject, if there are any travelers who haven't done the part of the Ochkanatlan World Quest where you chase down the evil dragon, try it out with Iffa. It'll be a completely different kind of flying experience.
I'm somewhat
I see
skeptical of that claim, but
Although it
it
looks more
looks
like
slightly
Iffa
different, which is
chasing
funny.
down a patient for a checkup.
Yeah. So, okay, what else can Eva do in combat?
Well,
Not much else.
Iffa is an animal vision user
Sorry.
with a lot of tricks up his sleeve. For example, when faced with aggressive enemies, Iffa can unleash his elemental burst and fire a therapeutic sedative, creating a wind current that pulls in and restrains enemies. Yeah, of course, as Iffa's good bro, Kakuku also helps him out in combat. With Iffa's elemental skill,
He does
Kakuku
generate
lifts
5
him in
animal
the air,
particles
giving
there.
him an
I don't
aerial
remember if it's
advantage in
guaranteed
combat.
5 animal
And while in
particles,
this
but
state, Iffa can continuously
you know,
fire tonic shots.
he has-
which deal anemo
he's a
damage
Natlan
upon
animo
impact
unit.
and restore
He has
HP to
some
the entire
generic
party.
supportive
Oh,
potential.
nice. So
Right.
what kind of team
He can-
comps
he can
work
be a
best with Iffa?
Well, to answer
sad
that,
version of
we should
Farazan.
introduce one of his talents first. When Iffa is in the Night Soul's blessing state,
But usable
he can
at low
use his
investment
field
levels,
medic's
unlike
vision
Farazan.
to increase swirl and electrocharge damage based
Right.
on the total amount of Night Soul
For an
points
animal
across
buffer, I
the
mean.
entire party.
Okay, so he works well with characters that can trigger swirl and electrocharged reactions,
Mm-hmm.
and characters that can generate Night Soul points. He seems like a really flexible unit.
Yeah, he is. Plus, in areas
Mm-hmm. mean,
with
more than
Natlan's
Mizuki,
phlogistic mechanics,
I would
if your
say,
current
yeah.
active character or indwelled Saurian's HP drops below a certain percent, Iffa can consume his own phlogiston to heal them.
Nice, putting those medical
He's not
skills
really
to
better than
use.
Mizuki, or he's
His
not really
kit
better
seems
than
really
Sucrose.
intuitive, and he
but-
helps with exploration. I feel like exploring the sacred volcano
The
will
healing
be a lot
exists,
easier with Kakuku's
so
dangle.
that muddles things a little bit because of
What can I
Farina.
say? He is a helpful little guy. Now, moving on to our next bit of news, a new boss is coming in version
Wow.
5.6, the Secret Source Automaton.
I don't care about Sucrose,
Overseer
well that's good
device.
then.
Travelers will need to defeat it to obtain ascension materials for Escoffier.
Huh. I feel like we faced something
Mm-hmm.
like this before.
That's because this boss has the same origins as the Secret Source Automaton configuration device from version 5.1. Both are pieces
yeah.
of ancient dragon
Everyone's
technology.
favorite boss.
They almost seem like
I don't know what this
two
boss's
parts of
mechanics
one
are.
Terrifying monster.
Okay,
I-
Jane, let's this is where we should wrap this part up, I think, because
I
travelers
don't
can
know.
search
I have
for
no
their
idea
own
what this
answers
boss's
to this
mechanic is.
in-game.
Hopefully not as
Now,
annoying as
let's
the other
kick
one.
off the event portion.
Oh, wow. There are Natlan characters in Fontaine? Is it because of a festival?
I forgot
or
about the
something?
bow. What does the
Not
bow
a
do?
festival, an amusement park organized by Navia and the Spina di Rasula.
Let me look it up.
Auroron and Iffa are there to deliver Natlan produce for the event. But it's not all veggies and good times, unfortunately. Against the backdrop of the
Oops.
festivities, a smuggling
oops,
case is
oops.
uncovered,
I have my
leading
own stream
Kaniche
playing on
and
my phone by
Risley
accident.
to cross paths.
A Saurian hunter and a prison warden. Sounds like a fun pairing.
Yeah, right? I actually have a few
Interesting.
sneak peeks to share, so let's take a look.
Weird. Why is a How cowering
So the
behind
Mondstadt content
Kaniche?
is permanent content.
I would have
then.
thought
That's
he
good.
was too proud for that. Oh, wait. It must be because of Fontaine's
Oh,
ban
yeah,
on flying
this bow.
objects.
Exactly.
Oh.
How and Kakuku made the journey all the way to Fontaine and happened to
I'll
arrive
talk about this
just
bow,
in
actually.
time for the ban.
Ugh.
A How
Not
was
right
able
now,
to
but I'll
hide,
talk about it.
But Kakuku got scared and flew straight
I like the
into
bow.
the Palais
I like the
Melonia.
bow. It's not good,
Auroron
but
thinks
I like the
Kakuku
bow.
will manage to send all of the important documents in the Palais flying around the building.
Oh, no. That can't end well. Well, what about Iffa? Isn't he going to come to Kakuku's rescue?
Don't worry, with Nervalette and Risley there, Kakuku's in good hands. Plus, he might even learn a new phrase or two.
Is Iffa catalyst?
Hey,
yeah.
check
Did
it
they
out.
even say that?
Risley
But
managed to
he
teach
is.
him one. Anyone want to guess what it is?
Oh, I don't really know what it could be.
Which
I
is
guess we're
important
just gonna
because
have
you
to
can
wait
put
and
scroll
see.
on him and
Anyway,
TDDS.
I wanted to
So
point out there are two
you know.
dragons in this picture.
again,
So does that
he can
mean
be a low
Nervalette
investment
could,
animal buffer,
like,
which is cool.
interpret for Kakuku? You know, dragon to dragon. Oh, I can't wait to see how their interactions go.
Honestly, I can't even picture it, but I just know it's gonna be hilarious.
Yeah, there's nothing we can say that beats the real thing. So, if you're interested, be sure to check out all the shenanigans in-game. And trust me, there are a lot of them. Always makes me laugh.
Risley
Now, on to the
Kanich event
actual
is a
amusement park.
bit of
Let
an
me give you some
oddity.
background. It's
but-
called the Cheval Morand Film Fantasyland, and it's the brainchild of a well-known engineer and film buff with the Spina di Rasula in charge of the financing, construction, and general operations.
Oh, Lapine Pauline is back. Didn't she almost go bankrupt after basing her research on that fake story? I hope her investment pays off this time.
Well, if the Traveler agrees to come on board, Lapine Pauline might be in a better position.
Come
Natural
on board.
rerun, I think Raiden leaks are
Why am I
wrong.
fraud alarm
I mean,
bells
if
ringing?
anything is wrong, it's the Raiden
It's
rerun.
not like that. If you don't trust Lapine Pauline,
But
yeah,
we'll see.
okay. Her track record
Like,
isn't great.
Emily
but at
would
least
make a
trust
lot of
Cheval
sense for
Moran
them to
and the Spina
rerun.
di Rasula.
If you say so.
And how do we make sure we don't run it into the ground?
Well, if the Traveler agrees to come on board, Lapine Pauline.
But it's been a
might be in
while
better
since we
position.
had wrong information for
So
rerun
this
leaks.
is a management sim? Okay, tell me everything.
You got it, bro. Travelers will be in charge of operations, like upgrading the facilities, expanding the park, and managing the staff. During each business cycle, travelers will need to allocate their precious
Raiden doesn't need to
funds
get
and
buffed.
action
People pull
points
for
to
Raiden
the most
regardless of how
important
good her
tasks
kit is
based
for
on
some
their
reason.
management needs.
And
Because-
plus, Navia recruited
I don't know.
Master Chef Escoffier to run the park's theme
Booba sword, I
restaurant.
guess. I don't
The
know.
dishes she creates can
People
give you
definitely
unique
don't pull for
management
Raiden for the
buffs, so
quality
don't
of her
miss
kit.
out.
Absolutely.
for sure.
You can also
Raiden makes
increase
money
your
for them
revenue by
regardless.
adding
That's why
different
Raiden
kinds of
runs.
attractions. For example, in Eclectic Escapades, visitors can experience unforgettable adventures where they fly through the air or dash
Raiden's fun to play.
underwater
I didn't say
outside.
Raiden isn't fun to
Wow.
play.
Or
I enjoy
there's
Raiden.
movie
I still play her.
masterpieces where you have to use special abilities to reach the end of the stage and seize the treasure. Before launching these attractions, travelers will need to try
Okay.
them out
Yeah.
and create a standardized strategy guide for each one so that visitors understand how to get the most out of the experience.
Nice.
Oh, and travelers can also add an attraction called Mellow Manor, where they can
Tetris?
create a cozy
No, not
retreat for
Tetris.
different
That's
animals
it's just
to
a
draw
puzzle.
visitors and increase revenue.
And travelers can also recruit some familiar faces to help run the park. Among the recruits are Fontanian companions and friends from other nations too.
Yeah, that's right. By completing friendly encounters,
How exciting.
travelers can learn useful management techniques from their companions.
To be clear,
Eventually, these companions will
featuring
become fixtures of the
characters and
park
events, I
provide
think, is
even
important
more management
for
support.
making
So,
sure the
long
characters
story
actually
short,
exist.
Don't worry too much. You don't have to go it alone.
Okay, yeah, that doesn't sound
There's
too
a
bad.
large number of
Plus,
characters in the
once you get
game
down
that
to
feel like they
business,
don't
you'll be
exist
rewarded for your
because they
efforts.
never show up in
Ooh, do
anything.
tell.
Oh, I will. Reach a certain point in the operations, and you'll be able to claim all sorts of rewards.
I don't know how
including Primo
Siege Wing
Gems
got
and
out
a
of
new
jail, though.
4-star bow, Sequence of Solitude.
Awesome. More Primo Gems to save for your next
Now
pull.
and characters realized how
Which
garbage
reminds
their
me,
region is.
We
Decided
still
to
haven't
move
finished
to
announcing the
Fontaine.
event
Yeah.
wishes, have we?
Oh, right, yeah.
Aw,
Sorry to keep you in
see?
suspense,
Look, told
travellers.
you it hasn't been
In the
wrong in a
second
while.
half of
In a
version
while.
5.6, we'll have
Why?
returning event wishes for Kanich and the Raiden Shogun.
Why? Wait, we gotta see the chat. Oh, the Chronicle of Wish banner is gonna be available. Kazuha?
I know a lot of travelers have been
Kazuha's
waiting
on
for
Chronicle
that, so
banner?
check it out if you're interested.
Yeah, you have to.
I'm not
And best of luck
surprised by
with
the Chronicle
polls.
banner, but
All right. That was a lot of info, so let's take our first break. Here's the second redemption
we
code,
didn't get
travelers.
confirmation of the Chronicle banner. Kazuha being there is slightly surprising, but hey, they have. That's a pretty good Chronicle banner. I'll have to think about that a little bit. Huh. Raiden should have been in a Chronicle, yeah, but she's not going to because she makes the money. She's an Archon. Just like Zhongli should be on Chronicle banner, right? What was that, by the way? I wasn't even paying attention to that. That was just brain rot music in the background of my brain. Was there no standard characters on there? Oh, yeah. That's probably almost assuredly the best Chronicle banner. Chef Escoffier. Rip my Miko. I mean, look, like it was, almost every character on that banner was doomed to be Chronicle banner.
Bloom Festival. Once a celebration of flowers.
Other than Kazuha.
now
Kazuha was a slight
shrouded in
surprise
unease.
because he's still like there's still not enough like groupers. Oh yeah. Oh, he has a Hydra unit. He's just pink.
Why is Albedo on trial? Who is the young man in the courtroom? And is he friend or foe? What
Surely
tidings
being
does the
pink
Dodo
means he's
communication
not
device bring this
garbage, right?
time? The answers
Honestly,
to these
like,
questions and more
he doesn't.
in the version 5.6
He's probably a 4-star, but
Archon Quest.
he doesn't look 100% coded.
Nice voice.
He doesn't look
Nice.
100% 4-star
So,
coded.
we finally make it back to
But
Mondstadt.
it's
and
also better if he's a
Albedo's on
4-star, because like
trial.
we really need
I mean, I don't know
compelling
what to
4-star
think,
Hydra units in the game.
but something
More of them,
tells
I
me
mean,
there's
than
more to the
Xingqiu.
situation
And
than meets
Candace
the
is great, but Candace
Well,
has
I've
very
put
niche
together some
utility ultimately,
information
right?
about the case. Let's go through it and see if we can uncover some new clues. So, here's the deal.
You need male
Albedo's been
5-stars as
accused of
well?
murder
No, if you
and
want male
unlawful
5-stars, you have to play
disposal of human
Zenless.
remains. And the case is being tried
Sorry.
in secret.
That's what
The
Hoya was
logistics
decided,
captain of the
apparently.
Knights of Favonius,
Either you
Hertha,
like Kanich,
seems to have compelling evidence against Albedo.
or you play
So
Zenless
the
Zone 0.
situation is serious.
I'm sure Hertha is just trying to do her
But maybe
job
Dolly is a
and hide the
5-star, I don't
truth.
know. But no,
there has to
there's
be
more
some
need
kind of
for Hydra
misunderstanding
4-stars than there is for
In
male
court,
5-stars.
The evidence does the talking.
Anyways,
Travelers will have access to Albedo's office on the second floor of headquarters to do
Zenless
their own
has males?
investigation
Yeah.
into the case and
Yeah.
hopefully track down some
Zenless has
clues.
released way
So
more
I
male
saw
5-stars
Jean,
than
Kaya,
Genshin
and
has
Juno in the
lately.
courtroom, all members of the Knights of Favonius, which makes sense. But it looked like someone from the church was also there.
Oh, that's Dahlia. He's the deacon of the Church of Favonius, so he works with Barbara, Rosaria, and the other members of the clergy. Dahlia acts as the Herald of Barbados, which is interesting because he's also friends with Venti.
Yeah, very interesting.
Mhm,
He
mhm.
sounds like a very important figure then.
Well, speaking of Venti, the Dodo communication device is back in this quest. At some point, Venti needs it to get in touch with Alice. But on the first attempt, the line connects to Grandmaster Varka instead. It's only on the second try
Sorry.
that he manages to reach Alice.
Whoa, hold on. You just dropped two major names. Barker has been on an expedition for a long time. Sounds like we finally get to hear how he's doing. As for Alice, we know she's the mother of the most adorable Klee and an elder of the Hexen Zone.
More Alice is cool.
But
Assuming
I
she
wonder why
actually
Venti
has real
needs to get
presence.
in touch with her.
Which presumably she will. It's an Archon quest,
Wait,
hopefully.
Could it be because of the
I'm willing
monsters
to
in the
bet.
city?
Oh,
You know what? I'm
In
quite
Amber's
optimistic about this
anthology
quest.
chapter, she
I-
did say the number of monsters around Mondstadt has been skyrocketing lately.
I am willing to bet this is going to be the
Right,
best
and now
Archon
there are
quest
even
of the
more
year.
monsters in the city. So maybe Venti is reaching out
Because
to
it's
Alice
not
for
tied to
help.
I think you
Natlan.
two are onto something. And if we
Right.
take a look at
So
this
I'm
map,
optimistic
you
about
can
this
see
quest.
that
I think
lot
it's going to
of
be
our
really
old
good.
Friends have joined in on the fight to
That's a lot of
defend
dots.
Mondstadt.
Wow, this is kind of emotional. Mondstadt was the beginning of everything.
Amber.
It's the place where travelers met their first companions and embarked on this whole
Razor, that's a
journey.
character that exists.
And now it's in crisis. Oh, hopefully travelers can do something to stop it.
Oh, they can, but it won't be an easy road. Alice can offer something to help, but travelers will need to pass a trial first.
Dane's going to join
and
us? I
defeat
mean,
the
I think there's a
king
good
and
chance of that.
queen on the
But, you know,
chessboard.
for
Anything
3
to defend
seconds.
Mondstadt. I'm sure travelers aren't scared of a little trial.
D-Luke with a Kaya ult. Yeah, that was kind of funny looking.
Okay, then let's take a look at what awaits them.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie, this boss looks pretty good. It looks so much better. Oh, well, okay, that move is slightly concerning as far as a little bit annoying to deal with, but it seems very deal withable. And it doesn't seem like this should have the nightmare
Alice
jank
will
that
preside
is
over the first
the
phase of
Natlan
the
boss,
trial.
the Natlan weekly
The
boss, the dragon.
trial takes place on a chessboard, but the rules of chess
And the
don't
visual
exactly
style of this
apply.
boss seems very, very,
Look
very
closely
strong.
And you'll notice some of the pieces
Okay.
on the board can
I'm
harm
looking.
the king. Travelers
Good
can
job,
use that to their
Mahoya. You
advantage
made me
to
look
create
forward to an
opening and
Archon
dish out
quest.
damage.
Crazy.
But in the second phase, there are no chess pieces.
It's the
to
Festering
use.
Desire sword back. I
Travelers will
wish.
need to rely on their own strength to emerge victorious.
Actually, I wouldn't really care. Only
It
relevance
looks
it has
like
on
there's a
Frina,
different
and
Dodo
Fab is
presiding
Frina's
over the
signature weapon.
second phase. One wearing a blue hat. Is that a different mage from the Hexen Circle?
Ooh, I wonder which one.
Well, travelers will have to uncover that for themselves. As for the second phase of the trial, let me offer a quick piece of advice. The boss
Oh, they
has
have two
some
separate HP
extremely
bars.
powerful
Oh, boy.
attacks, but freeze reactions can help you create an opening.
Maybe jot that one down for later, travelers. So, we know there's murder, an attack on Mondstadt, a Hexen Circle trial, but we have no idea how all of this is connected. Seems like there's a lot for travelers to uncover. You know, if you think about it, first Natlan had a crisis with the ley lines that almost ended in death.
Freezable boss, wow.
Then, a
Except
similar
it's not in
crisis happened
Abyss,
in
so...
Liyue, and now Mondstadt
Also,
is in
the last time they
danger.
introduced a freezable
I
boss,
can't help
they
but
didn't put it
wonder
into
if this
Abyss
is all some
for
kind of terrible
a
omen.
year.
Yeah, but look on the bright side. It's another chance for answers. Maybe we'll uncover new clues about forces we've encountered before, or what we can expect on the road ahead.
Or maybe we'll even get one step closer to
But
the
yay,
truth of Tavat.
freezable boss at least.
Yeah, and
Surely
then
that fixes
travelers
freeze.
can give us all the answers.
Yeah, I think we're gonna leave all that hard work to you guys.
I'm gonna guarantee
All
Escoffier and
right,
Ifa, your
well,
guarantee
let's
does not
lighten
work
things
on
up
Chronicle
and
Banner.
dive into the remaining version 5.6 events.
Yes.
First up on the docket is an event that brings us back to Fontaine, where travelers can test out their tactical brilliance in the new wargame Operation Downpour Simulation.
Dude, nice.
Okay,
Oh, I know.
tower
This
defense-ish
war
event.
game comes with all new offensive and defensive gameplay.
Okie
The
dokie.
key to success is really understanding your game pieces.
Okay, what do you mean?
Well, for example, is it a melee or ranged attack piece? Can it quickly break through obstacles? Or
Do I have
maybe
to get
even
Ayaka
bypass them
finally?
Entirely? Once you feel like
I
you
hate
know
how
all
she
of them,
moves. I
you can
really,
test out
really
your
dislike
skills
how
in co-op.
Ayaka moves.
The actual gameplay is pretty simple.
And I don't have the
What this
resources
event
for another
really
character,
tests
which is my main
strategy.
excuse,
For
honestly, right
example,
now.
when adjusting your defensive lineup, you can even set traps for your opponent.
Realistically, I don't
button
think I'll
called
have to, because like
defensive
Skirk's coming out
simulation.
next patch, right?
Looks like we can use it to test out our strategies?
That's right.
And I think I'd
once you
rather
set the
play around with
defensive
Mona
and
in a
offensive
Escoffier
lineup that
team
works best for you,
as a
the
DPS over
battle
Ayaka.
is ready to begin.
There's a lot of
And while
Escoffier
your
teams I plan on
opponent
playing
tries to
around
break
with.
through your defenses, your job is to use your chosen
But that
offensive
getting
lineup to
Ayaka
outmaneuver
on a
their
rerun
strategy.
wasn't even a
The side
consideration
that
in my
breaks
mind.
the
I'm only
opposing
asking it now
formation
because of the
first,
fact
or
that she's
makes greater
rerunning.
progress within the time limit wins.
Wow.
Okay, so it sounds like it all comes down to
And like, what if I
strategy.
lose a 50-50 to
Alright,
Yai?
so get tactical, travelers.
Now, if that last event was mostly about brain power, this
I would
next
love
one
to.
is
I would
all
love
about
to say I lost a
firepower.
50-50 to
go.
Yai.
Okay, let's take a look at the gameplay.
Get Yoim, yeah.
Think this is a simple battle for coins?
Okay, another coin
Well,
collection
think
thing.
again.
Alright. Sure.
Players will have the opportunity to indwell Saurians at certain
Oh,
points.
cool. Okay.
Use their abilities to your advantage, and you might be able to turn the tides in your favor.
This looks so fun. You could just
Seems
stay
like a
in
decent
Saurian
minigame.
form the whole time and blast all the other players away.
Oh, if only.
Imagine skipping
Saurian
cryo for
form
Rena for a
only
weapon,
lasts
though.
so
What?
long. But even in human form, you'll have Natlan character skills at your disposal. So the goal is to collect as many coins as possible to secure victory.
The Saurians are so
Thanks,
jank.
bro.
I mean,
So,
yeah,
this
that's fair.
next event is called
The Yoshi
Chronicle of
isn't very
Shifting
jank, though.
Stratagems. I'm sure at this point
But I'm
in
assuming
their
there's
journey,
mini games
travelers
in
have
the
gained
event
their
for, like,
fair share
every
of
single
companions and have
Saurian,
tested out their
presumably.
skills in a variety of different situations. But maybe there's a character you
Oh yeah,
want
what
to
the
learn
frick
more
is that
about,
weapon
like
banner for
Escoffier,
Chronicle
for
Banner?
example.
Oh my god.
Let's say you want to test out her potential in
That
different
actually
team
might be the
combos.
selling point of that
Then
Chronicle
I
Banner.
highly recommend trying out
You got
this event.
Mist Splitter,
Chronicle of
Ayato's
Shifting
weapon, which is going to be,
Stratagems
it's
gives
likely
travelers
Skirk's
the
second best
opportunity
weapon.
to study and test out
Um,
different team
You have Yai's
compositions.
signature,
The
you have
event
Ito's
is
weapon.
divided into different levels of
You got the
difficulty,
donut, yeah,
and
you
there are
got a
also
donut
challenge
that can
buffs to
plague
take
you.
advantage of. So make sure to take that
Chiori
into
weapon,
account when
yeah.
forming your teams. Okay. Travelers can also take a look at the challenge
Thundering
record and
Pulse
see
is
how
pretty
their
good
friends
generic
approach
stat
each
stick. It's not
challenge.
incredible, but
Could
it's
provide some food for
good
thought.
5-star stat stick.
Nice. Sounds like the perfect excuse to do
Um,
some experimentation and think outside the box.
Indeed.
All right.
To be
Moving
clear,
on to some Genius Invocation
I really,
TCG
really
updates.
hate how the weapons
First, a new
banner
card skin will
weapons
be
are
added to
more
the
expensive
card
on
shop,
Chronicle
so
Banner
check
than they
it out
are
if you're
on normal
interested.
weapon banner now.
Travelers can also look forward to new character and action cards
Since the
added to
fate point
regular
change in
mode.
5.0.
Nice. More food for the card sharks.
There are also some main updates to automatic
So in addition
Like-
to character and action card updates, the elemental reaction effects are different.
Huh.
And during the match,
I had to make a video about this stupid Chronicle banner again.
as well as mechanisms for character enhancement and replacement.
Chronicle banner's bad, but this one's pretty decent.
Travelers might even be able to come up with
I just have a yap about all the characters on the banner and be like, none of these characters are incredible anymore, but like, it's a bunch of limited characters. So if you want one of these particular characters and you lose to one of the other ones, there's no, like, both times I wish on Chronicle banner, I've lost to 50-50 to standard banner characters. Both times. That makes Chronicle banner feel so garbage, right? When losing your Chronicle banner 50-50 to a standard banner character makes it feel garbage. So it's interesting to think about the evaluation of this from a perspective of you lose to limited characters only, right? Mizuki is standard. Oh, is Mizuki on there? Oh. Yeah, I guess she is Inazuma. Did they really? They did do that just for... Did they really do that? Oh, she's not there? Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Why didn't they do that? That's kind of weird. Like, no, you had an opportunity to pull Mizuki if you wanted her. We made her so desirable after all. I guess it's funny. Screw the very small minority of people who would have considered pulling for it. Theater optimizations.
Some travelers provided feedback that the brilliant blessing enhancement process in the Imaginarium Theatre was a bit confusing.
Bait for free to
which
play,
made
I
it
guess.
difficult to level up strategically and optimize character turn order. So, in the version 5.6 update, the dev team has made the brilliant blessing details page a lot more intuitive, which should
Yay.
make it easier for travelers to make strategic level up decisions.
Yeah, because they were
and in
really
addition,
important before.
Rewards will be available for completing the star challenges in the new season of the
Okay.
Imaginarium Theater.
Got confirmations
that
that the Stellar Rewards are a separate
be
page,
nice.
so you can do
a restart button after the final act. As it stands right now, finishing the final act takes you directly to the credits, right? What if you just missed that last
Okay,
star
so you can...
challenge?
Okay, that's actually an important
Be
point, yeah.
Such a bummer.
Yeah, the dev team has received that feedback as well, so... a
That
restart
happened to me
button
last
is
time where I
also
missed the
being added to
star
the
at the
new
very end
update.
and I completed it.
Oh,
But-
nice.
Let's go.
That should make
Have you
it
met
easier
casual
to
players?
get
What are you
full
talking about? I
stars.
wasn't saying they shouldn't
Alright,
have this.
so
I think you were
next
assuming I was
update
saying something I was not going to say.
addresses another common problem. Travelers have probably noticed that when you go to raise a character's skills, the skill descriptions
Or do you
can be
or do
pretty
do you mean
long
or do you mean
and
the
dense.
buffs?
I mean, it's understandable.
The
It's
casual
important
players
for
really
travelers
need
to
that?
have all
I
the
don't know.
details. But
Look,
it's
I-
also easy to get bogged down in the weeds, so this is something the dev team has been working on.
I have never
Starting in
found the
version 5.6,
strategizing around
race
what buffs
directions
I
and
get to
talent and
matter.
constellation pages for
Not
new
once.
characters
Not even on a
will be
polearm only account when I
optimized
only
to
had
be more
5
precise.
characters.
So it's easier for travelers to grasp the core information.
Well, to be clear, you can say that it
Of
doesn't
course,
matter as much as on
travelers
polearm only
who
account because I
prefer
can
to
never
dive
take
into
advantage
all
of the buff because I
details
never
can
have
always
combinations of
expand
the buffs,
content
but
for
you
a
know.
more comprehensive description.
Nice.
The point stands.
Sorting
Anytime
through
I've been able to
information
challenge theater,
should be a lot faster now.
it has
Totally.
never mattered. So
Our
like,
next optimization is for the treasure compass.
I don't know.
Travelers provided feedback that while
It's not a
attempting
bad
to
change.
complete
The
Natlan's
UI
Warrior
thing for
challenges, it was difficult to
buffs, it's
locate where to
fine.
pick up the
It's just
quests.
like, okay,
So,
cool.
after the version 5.6 update, the treasure compass can now track those locations.
Woo.
Yeah, they can.
Is there anything the
Warrior
treasure
challenges
compass
are
can't get
important
still
because that's
after
how
this
you get
update, by the way?
obsidian fragments, which you can use to unlock tribal secret spaces, right? It would be nice if the treasure compass could track those too.
It can, and once your exploration progress is
Hidden
high
chest?
enough, the
Is-
treasure compass will be
is
able
this-
to pinpoint the location.
Can
of
it not do
tribal
that? I
secret
thought I can do
spaces as
that.
well. Similarly,
I mean, it's not gonna
at
be
a
able to do
high enough
Oculus, guys. It's a
exploration
separate thing for
progress,
that.
More chests from various nations can also be located using the treasure compass.
Oh, nice. That should really help travelers that are stuck at 99% exploration progress.
Map pins have also been optimized.
Um,
Starting in version 5.6,
yeah, anyway, as far as the
travelers
theater
can now
goes-
delete custom pins in batches.
Make it a lot start fresh if
Yeah,
you're someone who
the
really
batch
likes to
deletion
go
is
ham
probably
with the
nice
markers.
if I fix some things on my map,
Well,
but
that wraps up our system
um,
optimizations. So now it's time for some out-of-game news.
That's right. First, we have some exciting collaboration news to share.
Ooh.
Genshin Impact is partnering with the global beauty brand.
I mean, I don't know, maybe
Sheraton
maybe
Wood
some people are
to
excited
launch
about those.
two
I don't know.
limited edition sets.
Wow.
So let's watch the preview trailer for the collaboration.
I've not been contacted for this one. I was contacted if I wanted to receive the SSD for free last time, and I got that for free. And it's a solid state drive. It's perfectly okay. They gave it to me for free, and they're like, "We'd appreciate it if you shouted it out." It wasn't an actual sponsorship. I was just like, "Okay, sure." I mentioned it on a live stream. I did what they wanted. Anyways, yeah, I assume makeup and whatever, which makes sense. I don't know. I am certainly not the person that would be able to evaluate this product. It's safe to say. I'm going to assume though that it's like most merch products, where the best case scenario is that it's, you know, of high enough quality while also giving you a functional product to not make it feel like you entirely wasted your money, which is like what my feeling on the SSD was. It's like you know you're paying extra for merch, right? But at least you're getting something functional with it, right? So I don't know.
Awesome. Oh, it's gonna be amazing. The music's gonna be so cool. So beautiful.
Hopefully that product is fine, but I have no idea how good that brand is. Whatever, right?
Yeah, that's all the information I have about version 5.6.
Yeah, me too. What about you, Jane?
So sorry for outing myself for not using that makeup brand. Get ready to with me stream featuring Mona makeup, yeah.
And to follow that up,
they're really good, just
Iffa is
expensive.
finally
Okay.
Playable, and of course he's gonna have Kukuku right by his side. But the mini games are always so fun and creative.
So yeah, I don't know. Merch. It's merch.
Special program. A new adventure awaits. I hope it brings with it new friendships, new answers, and a whole lot of fun.
What is this song? Is this the I need to go to the harbor. Is this the harbor song?
See you in game, travelers. Bye. Bye. Bye.
See ya.
Bye. Stay tuned on April 30th. What? Oh, this. Didn't they tease this like forever ago? Okay. Lore. Hopefully a special animation. Cool. Hey, they one more thing. Alright, get out of here. Wait, sorry. While I fix my audio. I'll give you something to enjoy. Because they're never going to do this in Genshin. Genshin's not allowed to have 5-star males that look like this, apparently. Where's my audio? There we go. Whoop. Okay. Blap. So, what's to talk about? So the theater rewards, first of all. Yeah, the buff UI whatever thing, that's fine. Okay. The theater rewards, one, adding an additional elixir source that isn't like a scam for like for free to play, in particular. Like as long as you have enough characters leveled in complete visionary mode, right? With 9 stars, you can get an elixir. That's just good. Elixirs are not so incredibly valuable that I think you should stress yourself out for trying to get it, but as something to motivate progression for theater, that's cool, right? And hopefully that lessens the amount of people that would like throw XP into this. To be clear, like I do it on this account, although I wasn't even sure it was worth it this patch for this account. That's crazy. But you know, this account is in a situation where I have a very limited subset of characters, polearm only characters, that need equipment, and therefore, and I have little to farm other than artifacts. So if I'm farming consistently, it's very easy to have enough XP to throw away into that thing. The vast majority of accounts, if you're planning to not just hyper focus on specific units you already have, probably shouldn't be throwing resources into elixirs. Your artifact XP into elixirs. So anyways, and elixirs are at their best in my opinion for like completing builds for new characters, which is in contrast to if you're someone who's farming for new characters because you're leveling up and building new characters and pulling for new characters. Statistically, you are someone then also should not be dumping artifact XP into the elixirs. So anyways, point being, new sources of elixirs is a good thing. This is a source of up to 12 elixirs per year, because theater resets monthly, right? That's 3 onset goblets. That is 4 circlets. of good enough quality. 4 timepieces of good enough quality, right? Sorry, 6 timepieces of good enough quality. So, did I 36 star on polearms only? I've been 36 starring on polearms only every single Abyss cycle since Yaya released. And by Abyss cycle, I mean enemy cycle, because early on, when we started 36 starring, Abysses took a hellish amount of optimization, and I only optimized for the ones that were really painful. I cleared 1 enemy cycle back when, you know, Abysses reset, and it was the same enemies for like up to a month and a half, 2 months, right? Now it resets monthly, which is a good thing. So anyways, it always resets. The enemies always reset monthly, I mean. So anyways, yes, we 36 star on this account, and it's like trivially easy to 36 star on this account. Like, I know to 36 to if you haven't followed poems only, when I 36 star, I purposely have to limit how I 36 star to make it interesting at all. I have to restrict my challenge account. I have to put restrictions on the restrictions account. So it's just a side effect of being fully invested enough. And it's not just Arlecchino that causes that problem. It's the fact that we have Chevreuse, we have Eonson, we're getting Escoffier. By the way, actually in the context of poems only, Escoffier power creep Zhongli. This dude has no teams after Escoffier releases on this account. I'm not kidding. I can't think of a single team where I have reason to use him after Escoffier releases, which is kind of sad. The one team that I really liked using Escoffier team, liked using Zhongli in, was Shenhe, Xiangling, Rosaria, right? But Escoffier is going to be way better than Zhongli there. Way better. So, yeah. Like, what else? I guess Xiao. But the problem is, like, I'm pretty sure Xiao's best team is going to be an Escoffier team. I'm pretty sure it's going to be, like, Xiao on VV with Escoffier, not Xiao, Zhongli, Eon. Like, it'll be Eonson, Escoffier. I guess Eonson, Escoffier, Zhongli might be okay with Xiao on field. I don't know. Anyways, point is, I think that's a little sad that it's not just Escoffier, to be clear, that's doing that. It's also the fact that, like, Chevreuse exists on this account and Eonson exists now. Like, there's a compelling enough buffer options that the generic defensive unit for polearms only that also has a little bit of buffing value no longer is that relevant. Right? So, yeah. Is Escoffier worth it in your opinion?
Illusion shattered. Justice will prevail. Final war. Stronger.
Expect her to be relevant for like for the current threshold for what like good teams perform like. Expect her to be a character you want to have if you want to have better team options for your cryo units in particular. Like, and any future cryo unit that releases Escoffier will be part of that conversation. So Skirk is a likely one, obviously. So, yeah, if you want Skirk, one, we don't know what Skirk's kit looks exactly like, but we can make some educated guesses just without any leak information, right? Just, this exists. And we know this is a Skirk set. It's full of, like, lore crap about Skirk, right? So, you know, Skirk's probably a cryo unit and probably a normal attack damage dealer. And Escoffier's kit being what it is likely means that Skirk's best team is going to be an Escoffier team. So, you know, if you're being like, oh, I was going to go all in for Skirk, getting a Skirk C2, you almost assuredly will want to get Escoffier for Skirk instead of Skirk's Constellations. But we don't know what Skirk's Constellations... Maybe Skirk's Constellations will make her way better in a melt team or something. Maybe it'll unlock team versatility and there'll be a... Not just, oh, this is a 20% damage improvement constellation. It'll be something that actually like improves team utility. I don't know. Wouldn't surprise me if they did that. But like, yeah, expect her to have significant staying power for cryo DPSing on field. And then also just expect her to be a high value unit that you can put in a lot of teams, even outside of, like, not in just the full hydro cryo context. Like what Mihoyo showed for Escoffier was the full hydro cryo context. And that is, I think, what way too many players are going to make the mistake of thinking that Escoffier needs to be a full hydro cryo team, and she definitely does not. On polearms only, her main utility is going to be not in full hydro cryo teams. In fact, I think she's only relevant in full hydro cryo teams if I got her C1, and even then I don't know if she'd, with her C1, if she'd even be better. If it'd be better than, like, so the full hydro cryo team in polearms only, right, would be Shenhe, Rosaria, Escoffier, Candace. Without C1 Escoffier giving 60% cryo crit damage, I think Xiangling instead of Candace is going to be way, way, way better. Right, like, but I shouldn't say way, way, way better, but, like, probably quite a lot better. With C1, I think it might be similar, like, which is something. It's kind of interesting. Like, I'm not 100% against the idea of getting C1 Escoffier on my polearm only account for that purpose. I like using Candace. So, yes, Escoffier is overpowered with just one hydro cryo, notably with Frina. She has lower value if you don't have Frina, but I also intend to get her on my casual account. Because on my casual account, she can, like, be a pretty versatile off-field damage dealer. Like, the account is kind of lacking in off-field damage dealers. And the account doesn't have Farina. And the character will also help make for compelling Arlecchino teams and help balance out the fact that, you know, my Arlecchino's, it's a lower investment C0 Arlecchino, using a white tassel, and she's probably going to be stuck on white tassel for a while, but I can do something like Rosaria, Escoffier, Arlecchino, Bennett, right? And like, would Sitlali be better for the numbers from Arlecchino? Yes. But would she be better for team DPS? I'm not actually confident of that. I haven't checked. But the fact that Escoffier can be good for, like, putting in the 4 slot of a Hyperbloom team on that account, or whatever other context, makes her a more versatile and valuable unit to go for on a casual account that only has very few 5 stars currently and doesn't have any very direct, obvious intended synergy for Escoffier. She's that strong. And she invalidates going for many other off-fielders, right? So, yeah, free-to-play weapons for Escoffier. Fav, yes, is always going to be an option. She doesn't have necessarily 0 energy needs, and she likes attack, and this is a high base attack weapon. It's not going to be a terrible option for her. Especially if you can use the team energy for someone else and her. Her energy needs are going to be relatively low in triple cryo teams, if not essentially non-existent, to be clear. But you won't necessarily always play her in triple cryo, right? So Fav should actually be a good option, but she also doesn't need to burst. Like, if you're using her, I was just talking about her non-Farina context and how she's strong without Farina. Even though Farina substantially is part of the equation for why she is so strong. Point being, if you're not using her with Farina, you definitely don't have to burst every rotation on her. You still might have some reason to if you're using her, like, with Arlecchino, like I was suggesting. Particularly if you're trying to get away with using her solo cryo with Arlecchino, because that is something that you might be able to do. Is solo cryo with Escoffier instead of, like, Sitlali. But then you probably do need to burst consistently. I'm assuming, because you'll need the front-loaded cryo application when you do EQ in order to overwrite, like, Bennett's Pyro or whatever. This should be an okay option, but it's going to have, like, half downtime on the skill damage. It's a little eh. I'd use this if you have it over this, personally. And then from there, you get to Blackcliff. I did Calcs a little while ago. Blackcliff it was better than I thought it was going to be in Calcs. That was without the passive being up, because the passive is basically never going to be up. But it's just a crit stat stick for her. And as a crit stat stick, it's pretty okay. It's like a little bit worse than R1 deathmatch, but not crazily so. Deathmatch is of course not a free-to-play weapon, right? So I don't know. A lot of people I think will use deathmatch. Is my point. And that's fine. But yeah, and most 5-star stat sticks should probably beat out deathmatch, or Blacklift. Sorry, didn't mean to say deathmatch. I don't think a Skyward Spine technically beats out deathmatch because it's weird. Skyward Spine is high base attack, gives a little bit of crit rate, and it's passive, right? And then it has ER. If you need the ER, Skyward Spine beats out deathmatch. If you don't need the ER, deathmatch beats out Skyward Spine, I believe. So yeah, but then the 5-star other stat stick weapons are all good, right? This should be pretty good. Well, not in all contexts. It should still be pretty good though. Worse in her freeze team context, but still pretty good because hey, 5-star stats. And turns your EM into attack. Hybrid Escoffier. Wait, oh no. I can do hybrid superconductor. Well, Staff of Scarlet Sands is the weapon that keeps on giving. I can do full EM Escoffier, and she can have a whole bunch of attack. And anyway, sorry. Jade Spear should be fine, but you're not gonna like max out the stacks unless you're on-fielding her, which you can on-field her. It's not gonna be that hard to on-field her. Like on-field Escoffier, Farina, Shenhe, Chongyun should go pretty well. I'm probably on my main account gonna use Homa because I have a spare Homa since I now moved Arlecchino over to my Arlecchino on my main account now uses either White Tassel or Jade Spear, depending on what I'm feeling like. And I only plan to use Homa on Arlecchino when I'm doing some hyper min-maxy things. Because like I do have the ability to do like a 280, 290 crit damage build with like 60 crit rate, but 60 crit rate before like double cryo Rosaria buff. So yeah, I like Homa on Arlecchino for the min-maxy scenario and for drip, but I'm using Arlecchino a bit less than I used to a while ago. So mostly because just the likes of Lanyan I'm enjoying a lot, and Chlorinde I'm enjoying a lot lately, so I haven't felt the need as much to min-max Arlecchino, and I've been happy just having her on a very functional build. A very, very good build, but, you know, still very functional. It's trivial to use to make, use my Arlecchino to clear my main account kind of thing, right? But anyways. Is Escoffier transferable to non-Hydro Cryo teams? Yep, that's what I was kind of just talking about. Where, like, I think she's one of the most high-value pulls I could use my guarantee for. I lost a 50-50 on my casual account for Shalonen. I'm probably going to go to the effort of grinding the pulls I need on that account to make sure I get Escoffier. Because I think Escoffier will be more valuable than Sitlali for that account. I think Escoffier... I don't know if Escoffier is actually more valuable than Shalonen, because having low investment generic utility units would be nice. But I'm not really motivated enough to farm for Shalonen. And I think the account does arguably have significant more need for just more options for damage dealers and not just buffers. So, I don't know. I would have loved to get Shalonen, but I lost the 50-50 and I kind of left it at that. Will Escoffier be good in a Chaska team? As far as non-Mawika, like not Mawika Bennett Sitlali combo, I'm pretty sure Escoffier will likely be in Chaska's best non-Mawika teams. Maybe technically in her best Mawika teams too, but something like Farina. Like one interesting thing, actually, this is I think a really interesting aspect of Escoffier, again being a healer for Chaska, is you can do like, well, okay, the problem with this is you're doing, I was going to say Eon Son Farina Escoffier, because Escoffier is your healer for Farina, means you don't need to rely on Bennett's healing. And that is true. But then you're doing Hydro, Cryo, Electro combo, which means you're not getting Melt or Vaporizes. So I guess that's not actually that good. So I don't know, maybe you do... Wait, okay, actually, Eonson, C6 Chevreuse. This might become her best... Huh. Okay. Not because of the healing, just... So the Eonson Chevreuse Setlali is already a thing for Chaska, and I think it's possible Escoffier might just be better than Setlali in that context. I don't know. Doing Chaska calcs is weird, and I'm not going to try to do that. So, yes, Escoffier should be a nice option for Chaska. No, she is not only good for freeze. Anyone who thinks she's only good for freeze does not. I don't know. I don't mean to be rude, but sorry, I'm just gonna be rude when I say this. You're not able to properly evaluate character kits if you can't understand that Escoffier is very valuable outside of just full hydrocryo teams. Like, she's extremely very usable in many contexts. So I don't know, and she's not that hard of a character to evaluate. Like, it's fine if you couldn't get that evaluation on your own, right? Not everyone doesn't need to have enough knowledge to be able to make those evaluations, but I don't know. It is what it is. Like, am I happy with her balance? No, I think she's a bit too strong. I think she should have been a little bit more restricted. I think she primarily should be restricted at her full power level. I think she should have been restricted primarily to hydrocryo, like the full hydrocryo team. She should have been a proper freeze Chevreuse, right? Also, again, call them when we're talking about full hydrocryo teams with Escoffier. They're not freeze teams. They're Escoffier teams. We don't call Chevreuse teams overload teams. We call them Chevreuse teams. Okay? And Chevreuse actually does something for overload and cares about overload on a mechanical level that Escoffier doesn't even care about freeze at all, essentially. So, like, actually, no, not essentially. She just doesn't. It doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. You can do a full cryo team. It literally doesn't matter. Anyways, they're Escoffier teams. Full hydrocryo teams with Escoffier are Escoffier teams. They're not freeze teams. Anyways, Eonson's new Besson slot going to be Escoffier's weapon? No, because Fav is Fav. I'm sorry. Fav is better than Escoffier's weapon, assuming you need the energy. If you don't need the energy, yes, technically, Escoffier's weapon should be the best weapon for Eonson. Should you pull Escoffier's weapon for Eonson, especially considering the weapon banner is Navia's weapon, which is just... Like, I'm sorry, but Navia's weapon is poopy. It's a side grade to Serpent's Bind. I mean, an upgrade in practice, I'd say, because it's better when you're not in Bennett's Circle and like whatever. And you don't have to like wait for the stacks at the beginning of Abyss or all that. Like an upgrade in practice, but like a really minor one. That was on release, and then Muika's weapon power crept Navia's weapon. Like, it surprises me they chose to put Navi in the first half rather than Raiden, because like Engulfing Lightning is a desirable weapon for many people, and also just has a more relevant conjunction of things for various use cases. So like, not to mention this could have been a compelling weapon for Escoffier. So the fact that they chose to do Navia weapon banner with Escoffier weapon is an odd decision in my mind, because it lately seems like they try to make sure they do combos of weapons that are particularly appealing together in order to sell a weapon banner, rather than like the old school strategy they had where they put one compelling weapon and then a garbage weapon for the other weapon kind of thing. But this is an old school banner in my opinion. Navia's weapon is very not worth it. So, yup. But if you want the axe for the drip, don't let me stop you, obviously, for Navia, but like, there's definitely not much reason to get the axe, and it actively makes the weapon banner worse. And the reason I'm saying that is because for evaluating going for Escoffier's weapon is there's 2 weapons in the banner. You gotta evaluate the other weapon for your account, not just the one weapon. To truly evaluate a weapon banner. So yeah, I don't know. Escoffier's weapon is good, but like it's her best weapon only by a relatively small margin for her own personal damage. And it's obviously meaningfully her best weapon because of the fact that it gives an attack buff. I think there are some people that are assuming Escoffier's weapon gives an attack buff to the whole team. It does not. Because the buff is technically she gives 30% attack to the whole team for 3 seconds. But it only gives it gives the 30% attack based on healing happening, right? And because the buff only lasts 3 seconds, that means only her passive healing component, which only happens to the on-fielder, actually keeps up the buff. So functionally, you get a team-wide 30% attack buff with Escoffier's weapon on Escoffier for 3 seconds, which is nothing, essentially. Maybe a minor benefit, I guess, but like, woo. It may be relevant if you're doing Escoffier Rosaria, like I plan to do, right? On polearms only, but because Rosaria can snapshot, a rare snapshotting character, so you could get the 3 seconds buff going, snapshot on a Rosaria, and then switch her off. She'll have the buff from her burst, right? Yeah, Shanling can snapshot. So like, anyways, that team-wide 3 seconds might matter in some contexts, but for most contexts, I think for the average player who doesn't know about snapshotting, the 30% attack buff is only going to be for the on-fielder. The biggest loss from that, by the way, is actually Shenhe. One of the best things about Escoffier is how she uplifts Shenhe, because what Shenhe needed to become relevant again was a unit like Escoffier releasing, which gave reason to do 3 cryo units in one team, Shenhe being one of the 3. So Shenhe giving a buff to Escoffier and to an on-field cryo DPS, or potentially more, if you do some shenanigans like I plan to do. That's like Shenhe is a very relevant character again, thanks to Escoffier. It's kind of unfortunate though that it's also in part thanks to Farina, not just Escoffier. Like it's a 3 5-star combo. It's a 3 5-star cost combo that is required, or 2 other 5-star combo that is kind of required to make Shenhe relevant again, which is a bit oof. And it also wouldn't surprise me if for Skirk Escoffier, Shenhe is not the best teammate for Skirk Escoffier teams. It depends on if Skirk is flexible to be swapped out. It depends if Skirk can work with like 15, 16-second rotations. Depends on what Skirk's multipliers are at a baseline, because it's possible Skirk might get more value from a TTDS buff and 40% damage bonus from Sitlali, and a shield that enables the event sword, Calamity of Eshu on Skirk, might be more relevant than Shenhe buff for Skirk and Escoffier in a Skirk Escoffier team. It wouldn't surprise me. But for any non-Skirk teams, Shenhe should remain very relevant for Escoffier. And for a lot of people, if you don't have Shenhe, it's possible that your options for Escoffier teams are much less interesting, right? So yeah, Skirk is a sword user, supposedly, yes, but that's not 100% confirmed. So yeah, anyways, I think for most players, how strong Escoffier is at a baseline, I think her signature weapon's extremely, extremely unnecessary. But if you end up getting it, you'll see an effect from it because of the fact that her teams are going to be lacking in options for her. Sorry, at least the full Hydro Cryo teams are going to be lacking in options for attack buffs in general. But realistically, like, do you need it for your Ayaka? Do you more than like what does Escoffier do for Ayaka team DPS relative to getting her weapon on top of that? Probably not that much, right? I would not stress that. So, probably save your pulls is my opinion on Escoffier's weapon. I plan to go for it on polearms only, but that's because it's a polearm only account. I know that Escoffier's weapon will be more valuable than Escoffier C1, because Escoffier C1 only is beneficial in the full Hydro Cryo teams, and also is only 60% cryo crit damage. It's not 60% crit damage for cryo units, like C2 Shallonen. Like C2 Shallonen gives 60% crit damage to Eula, right? For like your physical damage. C1 Escoffier is only cryo crit damage specifically, and it doesn't show up your stat screen either. So, anyways, Escoffier good for Mono Hydra? Yeah. I plan to revisit Crit Kokomi, for what it's worth, with Escoffier. Like I said, I think there's all kinds of shenanigans. Like, at a baseline, I like that she's free Chevreuse, right? I like free Chevreuse at a baseline. It's fun. Like, I can do Crit Kokomi, and the calcs that I check with Crit Kokomi, this is with C1 Sitlolly, to be clear. So, like, take 25% off these numbers. But Crit Kokomi, I checked with my artifacts that I have on my account. I should be able to get 40k normal attacks and 50k charge attacks. With Kokomi's skill also getting like 30k hits on a crit. With like 67, I think it was like 65, 70% crit rate. I think it was 65. But still 65% crit rate and like 120 crit damage. Like, okay. That seems fun. I don't know. I'm down to revisit Crit Kokomi with Escoffier teams, right? So yeah, and yes, without C1 Sitlolly, it was like 30k for what it's worth, which is still pretty good. So I don't know, right? She's gonna be fun for shenanigans. I think she'll be really fun for giving more relevance to Chung Yun as well, because Chung Yun struggled in finding places his his C2 is a little bit different, but his infusion is relevant in, because just slotting him in to make another unit a cryo DPS with the restrictiveness of and relevance of, you know, like why cryo DPS versus pyro DPS with a pyro infusion from C6 Bennett, when pyro infusion gives you so many more options to do compelling things. Cryo just doesn't do that much as like your on-field DPS triggering thing. But in an Escoffier team, Chung Yun is a cryo unit himself, right? So doing like Chung Yun, Shenhe, Farina, Escoffier, and you can turn Escoffier into an on-fielder, or you could remove Shenhe too and give you more flexibility, right? Point being, like, hey, that's cool. I like that. So, yeah. But ultimately, yes, Escoffier Farina combo in particular is going to be very much a wheelchair combo, and in my opinion, more of a real wheelchair combo. And the joke with the wheelchair phrasing is that, like, it's a 2-unit combo kind of thing that carries you, where you could do kind of whatever other than those two characters and generally be successful. Of course, ignoring, you know, boss mechanics that incentivize highly specific things and shield mechanics and whatever, right? Raiden's signature or Kokomi, I don't know. Probably, I don't know. If you're playing, I don't know. The problem with Raiden's signature is it makes her awful to build. like this build doesn't look that incredible, does it? But like, this is not an easy artifact to get. This is not an easy artifact to get. This is not an easy artifact to get. That is definitely not an easy artifact to get. And this is also not a very easy artifact to get. Like, I want to emphasize how hard it is to get this amount of crit rate on an Engulfing Lightning Raiden. And, like, I'm still not 100% satisfied with this build. I don't know. Like, if you're really invested in Raiden, I think you go for C2 over her signature weapon, is my point. To be clear, Kaniche, if you also have Kaniche, you want Kaniche's weapon for Kaniche, or you would be fine with getting Kaniche's weapon for Kaniche. Is it maybe more worthwhile to go for? I don't know, maybe. But like, I don't know. Like, Engulfing is a weird weapon. Would I go for Engulfing over Kokomi at this point? For like a high investment? The problem is it's like completely opposite perspective. It's like Kokomi is a unit you get for like Hydra unit utility. I can tell you I have found very little use out of Kokomi long term. I enjoyed having her for a while. I did not regret getting her originally. but I don't think she has a lot of utility in the current day. She has some use in Escoffier teams as an on-field damage dealer. And she has some use in like electrocharge teams. She has some use in like Nilu teams, but you know, I don't know. I do not think Kokomi is the most relevant character in the current state of the game. But if you feel you're lacking in like hydro options and want a comfort healer or whatever, or have a particular team where Kokomi makes sense, then maybe, yeah, maybe. But I don't know. Raiden signature, Shungling signature. Yes, this is true. Raiden's signature weapon is one of the weapons that can help Shungling be solo pyro relatively easily. Relatively. Did I finish my yap about the stars and oh yeah, so the stars and the thing with the fact that there's a transient resin there for 6 stars in theater is funny to me, because like, why not just make it fragile? Especially because of the fact that you're not. So if you need, for example, if you clear theater, and you want to save the transient resin for like the next patch, you could easily do that by purposely not claiming the rewards until 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks before the next patch, right? So let's say, you know, you could claim it right now, for example, if you had the transient resin. You could do theater right at the beginning of the month, not claim the rewards for the star rewards for the transient resin until now, so that you could have that transient resin available for Escoffier, for example, pre-farming, or not pre-farming. You can't pre-farm the boss because it's a new boss, right? That's my point. Like, the fact that functionally you can make it last 6 weeks anyways, up to 6 weeks, just makes me feel like, why is it not just a fragile resin? 12 extra fragiles per year, Mahoyo? Would that have been a problem? It's still 60 resin. Resin is resin. Why do you care if it's something people can hoard or not? I'm pretty sure people would use it less if it was fragile, actually, because people have a tendency to not use fragiles when they probably should use them more sometimes. Anyways, the point being, I think that's just funny and weird, and kind of whoever is responsible for that decision internally, why? It feels weirdly petty. I don't know. And if the goal was to make it so people lose access to the resin because they were concerned that 60 extra resin per month is going to break the farming balance in their game, I don't think that's the case. But also, I feel like the literal opposite happens if you make it fragiles instead. Because yeah, you have people like in my chat who says they have 100 fragiles, right? I don't know. Whereas you feel forced to use transients, so I don't know. Maybe that's the intention, I guess. Maybe they want to make sure people use it, and that's why they made it into transients. I don't know, because maybe they have data that like half of the players just never use fragiles or something. But yeah, anywho's, it doesn't matter. It's extra resin. It's a very minor reward. It's something. Just give us talent books daily. Yeah, I know, right?
Thank you for.
So last thing to talk about, I think, before I go off to sleeps, here, let me try to open this up. Inazuma Chronicle banner. Let's yap about this for a second. I might have a dedicated video about this. Maybe I'll do this instead of a Pyro Traveler video this weekend, because I still gotta do that. But this is not. No, this is a fake one. I need the official one. What the? Sorry. Okay, just go to the Reddit. I'm sure the main Reddit will have it, right? Okay. Where? There we go. I found it. Okay. What? So, first of all, weapons. Good, poopy, good, poopy. Okay. yes, I think Freedom Sworn is a poopy weapon. I think Freedom Sworn is only really a relevant buffing weapon on a very small number of units. And in particular, I think it only really shines in plunge teams. Like, Freedom Sworn on Bennett in plunge teams, like with Cloud Retainer and Farina, is pretty good. But I also think that now that so that sounds like if you're specifically doing, you know, C6 Bennett infusion, I guess, right? Yeah. I have it on Kuki. Yeah, on Kuki teams it basically does nothing. It's one more EM roll. Functionally, because the 20% attack, what the hell is the 20% attack doing for you? And the 20% attack isn't really enough to justify it. And like Kazuha's signature weapon is Zyphos Moonlight R5. So I don't know, right? It wouldn't surprise me if Zyphos is on this banner, by the way. But anyways, there being 3 really compelling swords on this banner. You have highest base attack sword, so this is in the worst case scenario, like if you don't have an Aquila, it's a Bennett sword, right? And one of the best generic stat stick swords. And then you have another pretty good generic stat stick sword, but a little bit more restrictive. But very likely to be one of Skirk's best options if you're looking forward to Skirk, assuming Skirk is a sword unit. And then Uraku is a really good weapon now that Shalonen exists, because Shalonen automatically enables the full passive. So similar to Haran ultimately, but it needs a Geo unit on the team to fully enable the passive. Even without the passive though, it's just still fat crit damage stat stick. Redhorn is a rare weapon that converts stats. Redhorn is the main thing that's tempting about me for this. With the main asterisk that I don't really need any of the weapons on the weapon banner other than Redhorn. So it's not that compelling of a weapon banner for me, but that's just because I've wished too much on weapon banner. So yeah, I don't know. This is interesting. Obviously losing to Everlasting Moonglow would feel bad, and that's probably what would happen to me. It's very tempting to get Redhorn for me. Even though I literally said I didn't want to wish for weapons again anytime soon. I forgot the Redhorn factor, because is Redhorn. And I feel like the game's gonna troll me, and it's gonna, like, if I got like a Mistsplitter as a 50-50 loss, oh sick. I mean, I'll take a Mistsplitter, right? And Uraku would be like, okay, cool, I guess. I don't think Uraku would be very valuable to me, but I'd take it. I could put it on Jiori in the worst case scenario. Redhorn, I want for shenanigans. Mostly Sinyan, unironically. I don't need it for Dia, no. Yeah, I don't have enough materials for weapons, so I don't know. And I also said I don't want to like spend like money. I don't want to do a video on this banner. I don't know. I could so easily make money on a Chronicle banner video though. Like I am very confident I would not lose, as long as I set a smart budget like normal, right? I would not lose money. It's the content creator problem in me. It's like, oh, I could get things that are fun for content and make money at the same time, and just not level the weapon for a while, right? But it would definitely worsen my resource situation. I do not have the resources for it. Anyways, I'll think it over. I have like a month. Character-wise, it's super interesting. So for me, for reference, I have Chiori, Yai, Kokumi, Kazuha here. So I have half of these characters. So that means if I'm wishing on any one of them and I lose a 50-50, there's a 50% chance I get a character that I like. That I don't have. And like let's say the context of if I'm wishing for Ayaka. And I lose a 50-50. There's a chance it's Ayato. I'd be fine with getting Ayato. I'd be fine with getting Yoimiya. I'd be fine with losing to Chiori. Because Chiori C1 would actually maybe make me want to use Chiori more often. Actually, I don't think I would because it's just boring. I think that's the main problem I have with using Chiori. Is it's just like not interesting on a mechanical level, like at all. Like Chiori C1 Shalonen combo is cool and fun and all that, but like it's just not interesting on mechanics wise. So I don't think I care about that at all. Actually, never mind. Getting Yai C3 would be funny, I guess, but I don't really care. I am much more than happy with my Yai C2. Ito would be kind of interesting to lose to. Kokomi would be pointless to lose to, and Kazuha would be pointless to lose to. So, I don't know. And I suspect a lot of people might be in this place where, like, they are interested in one character on this banner, and losing a 50-50 to a limited 5-star that you, like, aren't strongly interested in, but could get some use out of, right? Is interesting. And like Ayato and Ayaka are much better with the context of Escoffier if you plan to get Escoffier. Although the chance that you have enough wishes to guarantee Escoffier and guarantee a character on Chronicle Banner as normal, do not wish on Chronicle Banner if you don't have enough to guarantee the character. So about 150 wishes, right? Because you will lose the guarantee, yada yada. Also, I will say them like doing Chronicle Banner more regularly. Like, when did they run Chronicle Banner before? Was it the previous patch? 5. Did they do Chronicle Banner in 5.4? Or was it 5.3? It was 5.3. Yeah. Okay. So, like, if they're doing Chronicle Banner every like 3 months, right? Or sorry, 3 months, 3 patches. I would like to see that. I would like to see them commit to Chronicle Banner every 3 patches. I don't think that they will. It's probably going to be like a inconsistent whenever they need to rerun quote-unquote characters. So, like, I don't know. But I would say, like an Inazuma Chronicle Banner needs to rerun at least one. This banner needs to happen once a year kind of thing, right? And I really wish it was more consistent so it was easier for people to plan around, because as it currently is, it's still basically just like, surprise, screw you, I think, to most people. So I don't know. It's interesting. You join my bosses, thank you. So I don't know. This is definitely the most interesting Chronicle Banner they released, in my opinion. Kazuha is probably the most relevant character on here for most people. Because of Chevreuse existing, I strongly actually feel that Yai is far more relevant today than she was in the past. Like, Yai Chevreuse teams are pretty good. But also I say that as someone who has never had to use Yai without C2. In Chevreuse teams, and C2 does make more of a difference, meaningfully more of a difference in Chevreuse teams than it does for like Dendro teams, right? I'm just saying that, like, having relevant options for off-field damage dealers that have good scaling and can do good damage from off-field in Chevreuse teams and take advantage of the buffs, and like for any on-field pyro unit, right? Like, it's a good option. But realistically, Yai is someone you get because you like her, as are most of the characters on this banner.
The world remains constant over the centuries.
Kazuha is realistically the only one that has strong enough situational utility to get for team building still. Not even team building, just the fact that, like, they do floor 11, right? Like, they currently have floor 11, but also Sucrose exists, so, like, I don't know. Sucrose existing is still, as it always has been, the #1 reason you don't necessarily need Kazuha. So, I don't know. Chiori's too new for Chronicle? Not really, in my opinion. Yai burst build or skill build better? Yai doesn't even burst every rotation, so not a Yai burst build. You know, I'm not saying you can't do it if you don't want to see a big number, but, like, if you want to see a big number from Yai's burst, all the more reason to do a 2-piece build. I vastly prefer, and in my opinion recommend, for the vast majority of players, a 2-piece Yai build over 4-piece That's not just because of her burst. It's partly because of her burst, but anyways. Have I seen the new Fatui post in their social media? No. Should I look this up? What curse website do I have to go to for this? Genshin Fatui. That didn't work. Where is it posted? YouTube? Oh. Well, that makes things easier. Posts. That looks like Star Wars. The Pale Star Edict, the highest of commands, has gone out. Whether the Fatui Harbingers have been summoned back to Snezhnaya and dispatched to Node Cry. People staring. What isn't this? What was in the like one thing they announced before? So is just the art new? I assume just the art is new. Kanitra, Navi, Hoodlepole, which one do you want? Because they're both just main DPS units that you build. You have to have other characters to make for a compelling team around. If you want, who is my recommendation? I don't know. They fulfilled pretty different roles, different niches. Kanich, I think, is more likely to be stronger, but simultaneously making his teams work can be sometimes more annoying, and dealing with his movement jankery is kind of an annoying problem. But he's also way easier to build than Navi. Like, Navi is such a pain in the arse to build. I think it's their #1 problem, in my opinion. So I would recommend Kanitra over Navia personally. But ultimately, I'd say pull the one you like more. The codes, I mean, if you look up Genshin Impact 5.6 codes, I'm sure you can find them. But also if you want them on the screen, if you want to take a screenshot quick. Genshin 5.6 codes. I haven't entered mine yet, but I will at some point. Here. Why? Okay, what? We have real... I don't want to go to IGN. We'll go to Game A. I guess they're tolerable. There you go. There you go. Also, thank you, Sapphire. Yeah. Anyways, so I don't know. This is interesting art. I don't know if this is implying that these characters are going to be playable or whatever. I assume it's just a hint at the lore things. So, yeah. Anyways, I don't know. The Chronicle Banner is very interesting. I'm gonna have to think on it more. Not for like me wishing on personally. Again, for me wishing on personally, I don't think I care about wishing on any of these characters. Funnily enough, I think Ayato might actually, of the characters, Ayato might be more tempting to me than Ayaka. I hate the boba though. I really despise the boba with a burning passion. I hate that idol so much. So, and like I got a 5-star in his first banner, and it was D-Luke. So, you know, I don't know. I'm most tempted by Redhorn, right? Character banner wise, I think the answer is no. I don't even have the resources to get new characters. I'm already stretched thin around my plans for Skirk, Escoffier, and a couple units, existing units being ascended. So I don't know. Should you get Chiori for Navia? Almost assuredly not. I'm pretty sure Shalonen will do more for your Navia than Chiori will. If you're asking what characters to get for Navia, if you already have Shalonen for Navia, I'm surprised that you would care about Chiori for Navia. Unless you just want more Navia team options. Like, Chiori is not a terrible teammate for Navia by any means, but, you know. I think Escoffier might be a better teammate than Chiori for Navia. Oh, no. Is Shalonen... I think Shalonen, Farina, Escoffier might be Navia's new best team. I'm not kidding.
The world holds dear is but a backdrop of constant motion. I stand before it, alone and unchanging.
At least At least if that is the case, at least it's not a context where Escoffier is pushing out Chilonin. Because that's one of the problems, is like Escoffier will push out Chilonin from a number of team contexts. I'm not 100% certain it's better in particular versus like Moeka. Like Moeka, Bennett, Chilonin, Navia, I think is technically her best team right now. But like, it's because Moeka is Moeka with her Moeka burst. Yeah, Moeka. Yeah, technically Navia's best team is probably Moeka, Sitlali, Bennett. Exactly. As awful as that is, it's probably true. So ignoring that, I think Escoffier, Farina, Navia, Chilonin is probably better. Probably better. But I'm not 100% certain. I don't know. Actually, is Chilonin even better than... She's probably better than... is Chilonin better than Bennett in this context? Or Eonson? I don't like... Do you... Like, how much do you lose from losing the attack buffer? Right, is my question. I don't know. I'm not sure. There's no one that can be on TTDS in the team. So I don't know. I'm not confident that Escoffier, Farina, Chilonin is better. But if you were considering Chiori for Navia, I would double check to see how relevant Escoffier is instead. As sad as it is. That's kind of exactly the problem with how versatile the Escoffier is. There's so very little downside that, like, what's the benefit of having the geo damage from Chiori C0 versus Escoffier, right? I don't know. Escoffier has to beat Shanyun first. I guess that's fair. I wasn't factoring in Plunge. Plunge is a factor. If you're plunging with Shanyun instead. Oh. You know how many times, like, I'm gonna have to say, like, oh, I think this character's best is this, but it's a non-Moeka, non-Shanyun, non-Escoffier team. Like, God. That's the state of Genshin right now. That's the state of Genshin. We're like, yes, this is Fremine's best team. Best non-Shanyun, non-Moeka Bennett Solali team, non-Escoffier Fermina team. This is the state of Genshin team building. This is what they've done. It's not just Escoffier it's done this. It's, you know, Escoffier in conjunction with other things. I feel like some people miss that whole point with the conversation, in that, like, it's not just Escoffier that's the problem. It's Escoffier relative to all the other things. And the fact that they've just gone down this route of give as much res shred and buffing your raw multiplier damage as possible rather than doing unique things around mechanics and whatever. That's why wheelchair term exists. Also adds C1 Chiori. But yeah, but C1 Chiori isn't just a baseline 5-star. Like, I don't know. C1 Chiori Chilonin isn't even relevant in the conversation, in my opinion, of the idea of wheelchair comps like that. But whatever. What is the best wheelchair team? Moeka, Bennett, Sitlali. That's the best wheelchair core with 2 5-stars, and you presumably have Bennett. So, yeah, it's Moeka, Bennett, Sitlali. That's the best wheelchair team right now, because you make sure you burst on your, you make sure you melt on your burst on Moeka, which is not that hard, and you're good. For most content. Obviously they could have bosses that highly punish it. Like, it's not that good against the new boss. The very Chevreuse incentivized boss. The toilet bowl dragon, whatever it's called.
All the world holds dear is but a backdrop.
Miko as sub DPS for Clover and Overload should work well. Is it better than Fischl? That kind of depends. I think it can be, because, like, I've definitely noticed a problem in Chevreuse when you're using Fischl, with Chevreuse teams with Fischl, because, you know, situationally you have overload happening and like you just end up getting out of range, or it's a team that isn't doing as many normal attacks. Anyways, for Clorind, is Yai better than Fischl? It shouldn't be. Not a C6 Fischl. If you don't have a C6 Fischl, which is very, very possible because apparently Fischl reruns less than Yai, which is a crazy statement. I don't think that's actually true, by the way. I think Fischl has gotten more reruns than Yai, I think. But I know that Fischl's only gotten one banner in the last year. So, and it was like 6-7 months ago. And then it was a year before that. So, you know, yeah, if you have Fischl C6 for Clorind spamming normal attacks, Fischl C6 is going to be better than Yai, generally speaking. But your build options are a little bit different for build path and yada yada. That like it's very possible Yai could be more compelling for you, but I can't give a universal answer. I don't understand why they don't rerun. I think they don't rerun. I don't know. My conspiracy is that they don't rerun Fischl very often because of how overpowered Fischl is. I think she's quite frankly arguably the most broken like original 1.0 4-star, but I don't. I'm someone who's biased towards Electro, but it's not just Electro. It's the fact that like just having a ton of elemental application. She's extremely good for various kinds of shields. She's a bow unit, so she's usable in all those weird situations that they like, all the random abysses they put like the Aeon Blight Drake in, right? And I don't know, she generates a whack ton of energy. Like, I don't know. I think they don't rerun Fischl because they don't want people to realize how overpowered Fischl is. But then there's still lots of like team archetypes that like want Fischl. So like it's so weird to not rerun Fischl very often. I don't know, it's crazy to me. Anyways, whatever. I think Fischl is the least power creepable unit in the game too. Because I just don't think they're going to be able to. Like they can release someone that's does more multiplier damage than Fischl, sure. It's not gonna invalidate the other things that Fischl does. So yeah, Fischl snapshots too. Let's not forget Fischl's ability to snapshot, which Eon-san has brought into the light of being very relevant again. I wouldn't have said it was super common to need to care about snapshotting like Fischl with Bennett before, but now Eon-san Fischl combo is a compelling reason to snapshot Fischl more often. So I don't know. Anyways, Escoffier, Emily, Burnmelt. Yep, should work pretty well. Every other one of Escoffier's hits can melt on her skill, so theoretically that puts her around like a 2000%. This is like a crown skill to be clear, but around a 2000% motion value. Sorry, her burst can also melt, so this puts her around a 3000% motion value for melt damage. For reference, what's Ganyu? Oh god. To be clear, that's like across 20 seconds, and like I don't think you're actually melting every one of those skill hits, so this is a slightly unfair comparison in favor of Escoffier for melt Escoffier. But it's possible burn melt Escoffier might be better than burn melt Ganyu is my point. Or it's possible she's very close. So Ganyu, we're just going to look at multipliers. I'm not going to factor in the fact that she ascends with crit damage. Escoffier ascends with crit rate versus crit damage. They both ascend with crit. I'm not going to worry about comparing base attack or what weapon nuance either, whatever, right? 392% of the Frostflake arrow, so, and 230%. How many, does anyone know how many charge attacks you get out in a burn melt team? 4 probably, right? Any melt Ganyu mains in chat? I feel like it's 4. Maybe I'm being pessimistic. Maybe it's 5. I feel like it's probably 5. With good play. I feel like when I played it, it's 4. Because It's Burn Melt Ganyu is not simple to play. It's not 5. Oh boy, 3 or 4 in a good day. Oh god. Okay, it's worse than I thought. Okay. Apparently I was being optimistic. 4 Ganyu. Okay. Uh-oh. So we're comparing 3,000% motion value that can trigger melt to 230 plus 392. And to be clear, I think Ganyu does have some advantage, like the fact that she sends with crit rate, or she sends with crit damage and gets free crit rate, right? But she also has the disadvantage in that she is going to be harder to play, interruption problems, etc., etc. But anyways, so that's 622% multiplier that can melt on a single charge attack. So times 4 is 25. It's literally less. Is it really that? Okay, sorry. I'm gonna go check what Escoffier is on my phone. I gotta double check that. Is that actually the case? Okay, I mean, okay. If we're being real, like Escoffier shouldn't be getting 3,000% motion value melting, right? She'll get her burst melt, and she'll get probably like at best 3/4 of that. So it's 216%, and it hits. Okay, 216% times. So we'll say like 15. So we'll say at most 8 of those hit. It's still more. Okay. If we assume 7 of her skills melt, which I think is pessimistic. If we assume 7 of her skills melt and her burst melts, Escoffier burn melt is equivalent multiplier value to Ganyu, with Ganyu having the minor advantage of her crit buff from her passive. But then Escoffier having the value of Escoffier gives herself red shred, which is not something I was factoring in. Escoffier has healing in her kit. Escoffier's gameplay will be boring. Yeah, I think Melt Escoffier is stronger than. Not to mention, I didn't even factor in what is her charge attack multiplier. Because like you can do Melt Escoffier with Chongyun theoretically, or you actually not even necessarily Melt Escoffier with Chongyun. You just do self melt, right? She has a 228% charge attack multiplier, yo. And it's also not the janky, like, spinny charge attack multiplier. So you can just kind of spam it, probably. So I don't know if you do C6 Bennett or not. Because C6 Bennett infusion means that you could just have Bennett Pyro infusion to enable, like C6, like Kaya self-melt. With C6 Bennett, you could do the same thing for Melt Escoffier. You wouldn't even have to do Burn Melt, I think. But maybe something with Chongyun actually does make sense. But if you're using C6 Bennett and Chongyun, then C6 Bennett overrides. But anywho's, yeah, I think on-field Escoffier is better than Ganyu, is my point, though. Yup. So that's the thing. For what it's worth, though, at least Escoffier makes it so that Freeze Ganyu teams are about as the same as Melt Ganyu teams, but would be easier to play. So like, there's a very compelling reason to want Escoffier for Ganyu, but it's safe to say the reason to play Ganyu, as the reason to play most characters, is because you like them. So, you know, not because she is uniquely better, other than, you know, some characteristics of being a bow unit. And that being fun. Like, I think her gameplay is substantially more engaging as far as an on-field unit goes. I think. I haven't played on-field Escoffier. Maybe there's some nuance to it, but I don't think it'll be that nuanced. My god, bruh, our power supports power creeping old DPSs. Yeah, I don't know, like, correct me if I'm wrong. I was being pessimistic in, like, assuming only 7 hits on the Escoffier skill would melt.
Inactivity serves no purpose whatsoever.
And I was... yeah, I'm not factoring in the fact that Escoffier can get a pyro infusion. You know, Ganyu can't apply the pyro to make herself melt from C6 Bennett. You need someone else to apply the pyro. Also, Escoffier applying cryo the way she is, like, it's probably way, way easier to do VV setups with Escoffier as well. Oh god, it just gets worse the more I think about it. It's so much easier to do Melt Escoffier than it is Melt Ganyu. Like, VV setups for Melt Ganyu, like, don't exist, right? They're just, like, actually fake. In my opinion, at least. But you can correct me if I'm wrong, I guess. But, whereas, like, VV setups for Melt Escoffier, I think shouldn't be that hard. I think. I don't know. Can Emily's signature work for Escoffier and her burn melt teams? Yeah, it should. Wait, sorry. You have to be the character equipping Emily's weapon has to be the one triggering burn. So it would have to be a burn melt team with C6 Bennett in particular. And triggering Emily's weapon with a pyro hit is kind of tricksy sometimes. So I've used it. I did it on Shenhe. It is a thing you can do. It's interesting, but don't necessarily expect it to work 100% consistently. So yeah. Anyways, the problem is that Gani doesn't give you anything to like about her. I don't know. I think she has a interesting. I was gonna say lore, but the only thing that came to mind was the thing with her being stuck in the throat of the demon or whatever. the stupid line about her hips being so thick that she couldn't get swallowed by a monster. I don't know if that qualifies as good lore, I'm sorry. But that's what came to my mind. So anyways, we'll see if like VV Melt actually works with Escoffier, but yeah, Escoffier should actually be a pretty decent on-field DPS. I'm relatively certain. She's also the Coco Goat, yeah. I don't know. Anyways, I'll play around with Ganyu, Escoffier, for sure. In various forms. Like, we shouldn't underestimate how Ganyu in Escoffier teams, like, you can get, we can actually use Ganyu's burst in an Escoffier team, get 20% cryo damage bonus. So, actually get value from the burst. Shenhe, so I don't know. Shenhe, Ganyu, Escoffier, Farina, right? Should be fairly compelling. I don't know. And you don't need any freaking Blizzard Strayer, because you can just use 4-piece Marshal Say Hunters. Escoffier, Farina, Shungling, Bennett? Yeah, it'll probably work. I don't think you need that much Pyro, though. Actually, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't make sense to have that much Pyro for Farina, I guess, when I think about it. Will it outperform Child National? That I don't know. I don't remember Child's exact multipliers and what you get a forward vaporize in his rotations are. 'Cause Child has pretty specific rotation requirements to get his full damage output, right? Anyways. Other news. Oh, I pre-ordered a Switch 2, which might be controversial. But the reason I pre-ordered Switch 2, to be clear, I was originally negative on the Switch because I thought it cost $500. And I originally said in the past that like I wanted the Switch 2 to cost around $400 and like fix the laundry list of like problems the Switch had. And they fixed all the laundry list problems that the Switch had mostly, plus some gimmick useless features. And like, yeah, the games are overpriced. I think that's the biggest problem with the pricing, not the actual console pricing, in my opinion. So it was $50 more expensive than I wanted, functionally, is my point. And like, I was like, okay, well. So I bought a Switch 2, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I am the enemy of all the peoples who are protesting Nintendo. I don't have it yet. It's not out, but, I did pre-order it. Because I want to play Mario Kart World. Sue me. Blame Shortcat. It's Shortcat's fault. I probably wouldn't care nearly as much if it weren't for Shortcat and watching him for 2 years. How am I not broke? I have a good amount of savings. Yeah, I don't know. I made relatively smart financial decisions and lived in a privileged enough position to be able to not have horrible monthly living costs to give me the flexibility to save up money. So I can buy $400 electronic products every 7 years if I feel like it. It's not that big of a cost. What would you like, Kay? My favorite Genshin YouTuber talks about my favorite Mario Kart YouTuber. Let's go. Yeah. Shortcat has wasted an ungodly amount of my life. I have so much Mario Kart 8 Deluxe knowledge in my head that I have never used. I've literally never used it. Anyways. I think DPS Mona will be if I end up getting, you know, the best troll the game could do. What am I doing? I don't have Mona on this account, do I? The best troll that the game could do when wishing for a Escoffier on my main account is giving me a C6 Mona, because I have C5. When I've thought about C6 Mona before, so the problem with this is like, so being in her stupid skill state in her water, like going underground, right? Every second you are underground gives you 60% charge attack bonus. So if you're under the ground for 3 seconds, you get 180%. I believe that's how this works. So stay underwater or stay sprinting for 3 seconds, get 180% charge attack damage bonus.
A blade embraces its duty.
Which
That's
a lot of damage bonus. There is stupidness, like I think you probably burst after. It's so stupid. The C6 is so stupid. But anyways, I don't know. The gameplay is so nonsense of an idea, and like because of the fact that Escoffier teams are just going to be constantly outputting a good amount of damage without, you know, you having to stay on field with, you know, someone constantly doing normal and charge attacks or whatever, you can definitely do something stupid like C6 Mona DPSing, where you purposely go under the ground for half the time just in order to see an occasionally slightly large charge attack number. Like, I don't think it'll be very good, but anyways, it's meant to work with Mona C2. Yeah, that's what I thought. But anyways, oh yeah, with the normal attack, it's a 20% chance. So I guess you just normal attack spam after, although the 20% chance is not very high, I will say. Like, it's very easily possible you spam 10 normal attacks and it just doesn't trigger, because yup. So I don't know. I'd have to go see how annoying her charge attack is to trigger on its own, because this effect only lasts 8 seconds. So I'm assuming you probably at best get, like, you know, 10 normal attacks in 8 seconds, possibly less. So I don't know. Anyways, this is one of the dumbest constellations in the game, and I want to do something around, like, yeah, go underwater to get charge attack damage bonus. It's stupid. It's really dumb. So, you know, I'll level up Mona when I get her C6, and Escoffier will enable this to be a lot less stupid. It'll still be stupid, but a lot less stupid, because the team will be doing enough damage that it will feel like it won't matter. Anyways. And let's not forget about Superconduct Escoffier. Anyways. Think the devs intended Mona to be a DPS? I don't know if they knew what they were doing that early on with Mona, or with a lot of characters. Like, do you think the devs intended Mona to be, or sorry, do you think the devs intended Jean to be an accessible team-wide healer for Farina? Probably not. Do I think they intended her to be a DPS in her baseline kit? I think some of her kit, yes, at least in her constellations. Anyways, how many polls do I have? On this account, I have that many. On this account, I have a guarantee, so I have enough to guarantee the character with like 50 polls, and I have enough right now to get to pity on weapon banner. we might need to grind a little bit
Activity serves
for
no purpose whatsoever.
we might need to grind a little bit for what's her bucket? What's the weapon, right? If we get lucky with earlies in some form or another, whatever, right? I'll consider going for C1 because C1 is interesting in the context of mostly giving me more relevance to use Candace more. Like I'd be happy with that. I'd be happy if C1 Escoffier makes Candace, Shenhe, Escoffier, Rosaria essentially equivalent in performance to Xiangling, Shenhe, Rosaria, Escoffier.
The world remains constant over the
That would be
centuries.
a welcome compromise, like cost of benefit to me. But I'm not gonna over prioritize for C1 because that's literally the only team contest that matters. Well, sorry, I guess if I do Mika instead of Candace too. So anyways, Mono's meant to be a buffer with high sub DPS damage. Theoretically, yes. I think that might have been their intention, but she's not very good. So anyways, Chronicle Banner is second half. And the new Shiyu. Nope. And I'm definitely not doing that now. Sorry. I have been awake since 1 p.m. yesterday, which doesn't sound that long, but it's a while. I'm not doing Shiyu right now. Not that it would be that hard. Shiyu is not hard at all, generally speaking. But maybe. Sorry, I gotta get my I'm gonna go to sleep for who knows how long. It's 9 a.m. for me right now. Shenanigans plan this week. So video plan is to release the kind of non-Genshin player 36-star The Abyss video. My friend Levi logged into my main account and tried to 36-star Abyss, which was it's a very interesting video. I like how it turned out a lot. Having basically finished the editing today, just earlier for it. Got to do some a last pass through. Probably trim it down a little bit because right now it's like 52 minutes long. I can probably trim it down by at least a few minutes. I think I can get it. I think I can get it below 50 minutes. I think, but just by trimming it, some of the Abyss portion. But there's lots of trial and erroring because I started the video with and Levi also liked the idea of starting. This wasn't me forcing him to do it this way, but. Started the video with okay, just pick out some characters you like and give them a basic overview of the characters, and then okay, take it to Abyss, right? And see if a brand new player on a fully invested account can 36-star, right? It's a very fun video, I think, and as you might expect, it was not exactly easy. It was not trivial for him to 36-star, and I will not spoil whether or not he 36-starred. I can tell you, if I tried to have him 36-star the current Abyss, he would probably fail. I shouldn't say he would probably fail. If I gave him specific teams and showed him how to play those specific teams, gave him the knowledge that I have accrued, right? He probably could practice and within a couple hours clear this Abyss, right? But whatever. Anyways, when's it coming out? Probably tomorrow, or Sunday. The reason it might come out Sunday is just if I feel like posting something more time poignant. Like I'm now considering maybe I was gonna do a Pyro Traveler video this week, but then the reason I didn't make the Pyro Traveler this week when I said I was going to in a previous live stream was because I got a slight headache. Went down, sat to record, did some testing with Pyro Traveler with a 160 ER build. The 160 ER build still was not enough to get Pyro Traveler's burst back without funneling particles from Bennett, and that made me salty and in a bad mood, and I didn't want to record it. This is what happens when I start doing anything with Pyro Traveler. I get annoyed at some Pyro Traveler is good. Their C6 makes them a useful character, even more useful of a character. I quite like their C6, but I just get annoyed when I start trying to use them. So anyways, I might still have a Pyro Traveler video Maybe I might have a Chlorine video, maybe I might have a DPS Kirara video, or I might have a yap. I might have a yap instead about Chronicle Banner. Only problem, all the generic Genshin content creators are probably going to be making a Chronicle Banner yap video, but I don't know. If I do make that, that might come out tomorrow instead, is my point. And it might be like, actually, I don't know. This is the kind of thing that, you know, arguably, if I wasn't already like extremely tired from spending 12 hours editing, I should probably like record that now and then edit it now and throw up the video. Like it's the type of video I could record and edit theoretically in like 4 hours or less, right? But sometimes I get lost in my own yap sometimes, and I like to figure out exactly what I'm gonna say beforehand. So I don't know. I'm not like it's most, if it's the business decision is to, you know, rush out that kind of video as soon as possible, because if you make that video first before the other YouTubers, you tend to get a lot more views. I'm not gonna do that. And if anything, if I post this tomorrow or the week after or next patch, it'll be like maybe more of a deep dive, but I don't know if I'll actually present it as a deep dive or not, but it'll just be like a long yap about the different characters and how Chronicle Banner works, the risks, how much it's worth the risk of going for it, whatever. I don't know. Anyways, could do a live take right now and edit it when you wake up. No, I don't think I have enough fluid, coherent thoughts to make a meaningful video out of that right now, so I'm not going to. Yep. Did they reveal Dolly's element? Yes, we saw his Hydro vision on his back. So, we know he's Hydro. Don't know if he's 4-star for sure. Don't know why he's pink. Not that that matters. He can be pink. I like him visually, his visual design more than I thought it would. And, you know, of all the characters they've released this year, my favorite ones have been 4 stars. As far as how they balance the kit goes. To be clear, as far as I do like Sitlali's kit a lot, but Sitlali is also part of the group of like you know. And I like Sitlali particularly on a characterization level. I think she's one of the strongest characters in the Natlan cast. So, you know, but I think they did an amazing job with Oron's design, Eonsan's design, and Longyon's design overall. Not that they're all perfect or anything. Kachina, sadly, is hampered by being free unit. Ifa is hampered by Mahoyo hates Iffa. I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand what happened with Iffa. Why was Iffa... Why is Iffa just a slightly less bad Mizuki? And to be clear, he's not objectively better than Mizuki, but he is, like, more versatile than Mizuki, and in my opinion, that makes him better.
Inactivity serves no purpose whatsoever.
So I don't know. We'll see what Dahlia is. Dahlia is presumably it's a very good chance Dahlia is the last 4-star, and you know, it's been a while since we had a Hydra 4-star released. I liked Candace a lot, but Candace is relatively niche at the end of the day, and we could really use some compelling Hydra options in the game that aren't 5 stars. So. We'll see. We'll see. You have none of the characters in Chronicle, so I don't mind getting all of them. I feel like... I don't know. Like, that is one benefit of the Chronicle banner. If you are someone who's willing... If you have a ton of wishes, or willing to spend money for a ton of wishes, and you want all of the characters, it's probably relatively efficient to wish on the Chronicle banner, right? Because you can just like you pick one character. If you get them, you can like do some weird like statistical finagling to min-max getting certain characters. And that, like, I think there's like reason to cancel your fate point even. I don't remember exactly how it works, but anyways, yes, if you are someone who wants like all of the characters on Chronicle Banner for some reason, and you can afford it monetarily or just because you've saved a crap ton of Prima Gems, it's an interesting banner. That's maybe something to talk about if I make the video. So for weapon, it's more worth it. I mean, I don't know if I'd ever say weapon banner is worth it. Objectively speaking, weapons are generally speaking not worth the increase, but having some options for 5-star weapons can be nice, and that's a pretty good weapon banner for sure. But the fact that it costs more to get weapons on Chronicle Banner than it costs to get weapons on this banner is stupid. So I don't know. Anyways, it's an interesting weapon banner for sure. There's definitely things to talk about, but not right now. Not more than I already did.
You're also here for Mondstadt's wine, aren't you?
Yeah, they are indeed just stats in the end for the weapons. Which sword is better for Kaching and which one for Animo Traveler? For Animo Traveler, I think you probably want... For basically every Traveler, I'm pretty sure Mist Splitter is probably the best weapon. I think. Uraku with Shalonen might not be that far behind, to be clear. But I think Mist Splitter should still, generally speaking, be better. For like all the Travelers, essentially. Other than Dendro Traveler, maybe, I guess. And then for Kaching, I assume... For Kaching, it might depend too, but I don't know. Go check KQM. I don't know. Go check KQM if you're wondering which sword to specifically target. But if you don't have any of the 5-star swords, keep in mind if you like target one and you lose your 50-50 to one of the other compelling ones, maybe just be happy with that. But yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I'm literally yawning right now. I should go to sleep. Anyways, I'm looking forward to 5.6. Crazy. The Archon quest looks cool. Mondstadt, permanent Mondstadt content. Wow. Crazy. And I think I'm optimistic it'll probably be the best Archon quest in this year. Which, to be fair, for me, might be a different bar for you, but for me, it's not a very high bar. But I'm optimistic it'll even be not just the best, but best of the year. I think there's a good chance it could be among the best Archon quests in the game. You know what? I'll set my I'll be that optimistic. Crazy. Rare bit of optimism for me when it comes to the story for Genshin. I liked what they showed. Their advertisement worked on me for once. So, anyways, I'm glad I reacted to it. It's worth staying up a couple extra hours for. Have a wonderful... I was going to say night. Have a wonderful night if it's nighttime for you, I guess. Have a wonderful day if you're insane like me and it's daytime. Or whatever. I can't even be coherent. But